in on the investigation.
The Justice Department has blocked the Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension from joining the probe into the shooting death of Renee Good. Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Fry.
If you got nothing to hide from, then don't hide from it. Include local experts in the process.
Fry is also upset the Trump administration has suggested his city is dangerous. He says there have only been 2 shootings in 2025.
50% of the shootings that have happened thus far in Minneapolis this year have been ICE.
Michael Wallace, CBS News.
Well, CBS's Gwen Baumgardner is in Portland, Oregon, where 2 people were shot by federal agents.
The Department of Homeland Security said the shooting happened Thursday during a traffic stop targeting a vehicle whose driver and passenger have alleged ties to a notorious Venezuelan gang. DHS says the driver weaponized the vehicle and tried to run over agents, and that the officer who fired the gun feared for his life. The FBI's Portland office says it is, quote, investigating an assault on federal officers.
Luigi Mangione's attorneys are in court today to try to stop the government from seeking the death penalty against him in the killing of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. Trial lawyer Richard Schoenstein is following the case.
If they can get the stalking charges dropped or establish that the stalking charges are not a predicate for the death penalty, then the defense can get the death penalty removed as a possible punishment in this case.
The U.S. military says forces boarded an oil tanker in the Caribbean early today. CBS's Natalie Brand.
This operation on targeting sanctioned Venezuelan oil continues. This, of course, started well before Maduro's capture, but now we've seen 5 vessels seized after the latest action reported by U.S. Southern Command today.
President Trump said today he called off a second wave of attacks on Venezuela after securing cooperation with new leaders, which began releasing prisoners. Correspondent Jim Crisula's got more on legal action against a major retailer and top soda company.
Walmart and PepsiCo have been accused in a federal lawsuit of a decade-long price-fixing scheme that allegedly involved raising the price of Pepsi products at stores other than Walmart. The proposed class action lawsuit says the 2 companies have had a long-term agreement that gives Walmart preferential pricing on Pepsi products.
And checking Wall Street, right now the Dow is up 270 points. The S&P is up 43. NASDAQ is up 182. This is CBS News.
You still got it, but your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Ice activity in Seattle, the latest coming up. But first, KIRO Newsradio traffic. In Bothell, 2 lanes are now open on southbound I-405 at 195th Street after an earlier crash. You're still solid from through Canyon Park. Travel time Alderwood to South Center is 72 minutes, 35 longer than usual. Your alternate route, Everett to Seattle on I-5, is 34 minutes. In Tacoma, a crash is blocking a lane on State Route 16 westbound near South Union. Just a slight slowing there. Traffic brought to you by the Emerald Queen Casino. Live professional boxing is back with the main event February 6th at the Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest.
KIRO Newsradio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO Newsradio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning, I'm Heather Bosch.
I am furious at the federal government's abuse of power.
Seattle Mayor Katie Wilson, after police confirmed 3 men were detained by ICE across the street from a Home Depot in Seattle this week. Wilson acknowledging local authorities have little power over federal operations.
So I'm working with Police Chief Barnes, City Attorney Evans, immigrant rights groups, and local leaders to identify every possible legal argument, public resource, and creative tool we can use to keep the people of Seattle safe.
The action came on the same day an ICE agent fatally shot a mother in Minneapolis, and a day before Border Patrol shot and wounded 2 people in Portland. A jury is now deliberating whether Seattle is responsible for the death of a teenager killed during the CHOP protests. The Seattle Times reports the case went to the jury yesterday after a month-long trial. 16-year-old Antonio Mays Jr. was shot at the Capitol Hill protest zone in 2020. A 911 call just obtained by KIRO 7 TV reveals tension in an East King County family prior to their murder-suicide. Mac Williams told the operator.
My mother is attacking me.
What is going on?
I'm holding her on the floor.
Do you say you're holding her on the floor?
Yes, she keeps attacking me.
That is not true. Okay, I need you to let go of your mother and leave the room.
Williams and his mother, Danielle Cavalier, were in a heated custody battle over Danielle's other son, Nick, a disabled adult. Weeks later, Danielle, Nick, and Mac's wife were found shot to death. Medical examiners say Mac died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Major construction and a big traffic headache this weekend. Tonight, all northbound lanes on I-5 will shut down from I-90 to Northeast 45th Street until 5 a.m. Monday. State Transportation Secretary Julie Meredith.
That could mean finding alternative routes, leaving early or staying late, allowing more time to travel, taking transit when possible.
Crews will create safe work zones for a long-term 2-lane closure through 2026. University of Washington quarterback DeMond Williams Jr. is staying with the Huskies after all. The sophomore announced yesterday he's coming back 2 days after saying he was entering the transfer portal and setting off a firestorm of criticism because he had already signed a deal with the Huskies. Coach Jed Fish says he supports Williams and they'll work to rebuild trust within the Husky community. KIRO News Radio weather, cloudy skies today with highs in the upper 40s. It's 46 in downtown Seattle. I'm Heather Bosch.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with the KIRO News Radio App. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
This is the Gee and Ursula Show with G. Scott and Ursula Reutin.
In the winter order, I makes it high, getting jiggy with them.
Oh, what's up, everybody? Happy Fresh Friday. This is the first one of the year. It's also Flex Fridays, and we'll be explaining that here in a second. Grateful that you guys are hanging out with the Gee and Ursula Show. Ursula, good morning to you. And, hey, this is for everyone, and you, of course. Right now it's Friday. Mm-hmm. Are you entering the weekend proud or relieved?
Relieved.
Okay.
Relieved. Well, actually proud too. And we'll explain that coming up at 9:47 because it is our first Flex Friday.
It is.
And before anyone texts in, I don't even have to look at the text line because they're going to correct us because we weren't here on the first Friday of the year. So this is our first chance to get with everybody on our brand new Flex Friday coming up at 9:47. And I got to tell you, it worked for me.
Did it?
Because I dragged my you-know-what into the gym last night.
Okay.
Yes.
It worked for Nick, too.
Yes. We saw Nick. And so we're going to share our pictures. But we want to, for all of you who before the new year told us you wanted to be part of this, we're going to create a nice little community there on our Gee and Ursula Show Facebook page. Chef's going to post our pictures there. And we want you to, if you don't have a picture just yet, you can take a picture, but we're going to hold each other accountable.
Yeah.
Because if nothing else, 2026 is going to be the year that we all get healthier. How's that?
Yes. So at least one time a week.
Yes.
One time a week.
Yes.
All right.
And we didn't even give an amount of time, but you're going to share some tips because the moment I told my husband how much time I spent, he was like, oh, he was not impressed. But
that's where it starts.
It was the first day. Yeah, exactly.
That's where it starts.
Exactly.
All right. Are we going to do a show today?
Yes, we are.
All right.
Text line 888-973-5476, 888-973 KIRO.
Let's get to Ursula's top stories of the day, brought to you by Pendergast Law.
And we are tracking breaking developments in Portland, Oregon, where federal Border Patrol agents shot and wounded a married couple during a traffic stop yesterday. Details of what exactly happened differ depending on whether you listen to local or federal authorities. According to the Department of Homeland Security, agents were doing a targeted vehicle stop involving suspected Venezuelan gang members when the driver allegedly trying to run over the agents, prompting one Border Patrol officer to fire in what the department is calling self-defense. CBS's Gwen Baumgartner says the man was hit twice in the arm, the woman was hit in the chest. They drove off and called 911 from several miles away.
Now, we've learned that Portland police were not involved until that 911 call came in. It is worth noting that those claims by DHS, we've not been able to verify whether the two people shot were, in fact, members of a Venezuelan gang or whether the driver did try to hit any of the agents.
Now, Portland's Mayor Keith Wilson says the city has opened an independent investigation.
We know what the federal government says happened here. There was a time when we could take them at their word. That time is long past. That is why we are calling on ICE to halt all operations in Portland until a full and independent investigation can take place.
Now, Gee, of course, as you know, this comes just one day after an ICE officer shot and killed 37-year-old Renee Good in Minneapolis. That has sparked protests and fierce criticism from state leaders who dispute the federal narrative of the events. And then we have seen protests here in Seattle. And in a second, I'm going to tell you about an incident that happened in Seattle involving ICE.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to stop because Portland is the latest where we see a shooting.
Yeah. And that's why I'm grateful. Thank you to a chef for getting our guest at 10 o'clock today. We are going to have the sheriff of Thurston County on. Sheriff Sanders is going to join our show. We're going to be asking him about this topic. Okay, Ursula, this has been a lot. Right, with Minneapolis going on, and then now Portland, and then you're going to tell us about something happening in Seattle, and yesterday and today, and from here on out. My goal isn't really to argue on whether or not it was justified. My goal isn't to tell you about whether or not you should trust the federal government. My goal isn't even to try to sit here and tell folks that you should trust law enforcement, because I think there's a little bit of doubt that we've had and we've seen over the years. But what's not being talked about, and I had a friend of mine put some stuff on social media yesterday telling folks what and how to do if ICE were to approach you, and that wasn't a great idea in what they did. What's not being talked about, Ursula, is this. Do you want to be right or do you want to go home? And we are having these debates on whether or not whose fault it is and who to trust. But at the end of this day, Renee's gone forever. And so it's hard for me to have this discussion knowing that we are arguing about stuff. And like, granted, let that happen. But people need to know what to do if ICE were to approach them. And I'm sorry. Trying to drive off is not a good idea right now.
Okay. And again, I understand where you're saying and what you're saying. The question is, what are proper protocols? In the case of Renee Good, you're looking and seeing that, there is video that tells a lot, but there are some things that are not extremely clear. Although many people have come to conclusions. You and I have both agreed we're trying very hard not to come to any kind of conclusions. I will say that it raises a lot of questions. Sure. And what the Portland mayor said about how there used to be a time when you could believe when the federal authorities said, this is what happened, that you might have more trust in it. And right now we are coming from a place of a lack of transparency, a lack of trust, and heightened tensions because, in Portland, in Minneapolis, there are cities where these federal agents or federal authorities have come in masse, and it's stoking a lot of fear. Yeah. And yes, of course, everyone wants to come out alive. The officers want to come out alive, and the people who are protesting want to come out alive. But you need to be able to also peacefully protest without fear of losing your life.
Okay. And you know what? You're right. With respect to what Portland says, and with respect to what I keep seeing on social media, and people are saying, Ursula, there used to be a time when, you talking about before technology? Because before technology, I remember a time when law enforcement used to tell the whole and shape the whole entire narrative. And I remember when the media used to back law enforcement and they would tell you exactly what happened. So when we're talking about a history in this country, I want to say that first. Second, do we know why? I don't, by the way. Do we know why Renee was taking off in the first place?
Well, because I'm going to guess, I don't have a chance to talk to her. She's dead. No. But she was there. I believe that she was an observer. I mean, there's differing accounts of what, and this is why I want to be very careful as to what I say about that. But from the video, it looked like one of the agents was trying to get her out of the car. I'm guessing that she was reacting out of fear, but you can see where the tires were turned and she was trying to get away. You can also see that one of the agents was clipped. So, yes, I mean, so
come on, there you go.
We can all come up with our own conclusions, and this is where it's imperative to have a fair and thorough investigation. But my question is, how can you have a fair and thorough investigation when
Vice President?
When you've got, you've got the vice president saying he already has absolute immunity. You have, and I'll also say this, and I didn't get a chance to say it yesterday, you have the mayor and others. I don't want to call it a murder either, because that needs to be proven in court, or that needs to be proven after an investigation. Mm-hmm. But again, how is there going to be a fair trial when also the state of Minnesota has been taken out of it? Mm-hmm. And they've already concluded that it was justified. And I guess the bottom line is everyone needs to tamp down the rhetoric, but yet push for accountability. I mean, and this is why someone told me I was crazy to say you should protest peacefully. I mean, right now people are feeling like we have no way of fighting back. Mm-hmm. And fighting back does not mean getting in the face or getting in confrontations with authorities. But I think peaceful protesting is one way people can say we're not okay with this.
Can I ask you a question, Ursula? If tomorrow ICE were to pull you over, I'm asking you now, what are you going to do?
I'm going to ask a lot of questions. Why are you pulling me over? Am I going to take off? No. I'm going to ask a lot of questions. Mm-hmm. I'm going to ask for an attorney.
Mm-hmm. And the reason why I'm asking this,
I don't want to blame the victim either, and I don't want it to come across as And I know that's not what you're doing, but I can tell you already that people will say, I'm sure Renee Good wanted to get out of there in one piece.
I'd ask you like 5 minutes ago, do we know why Renee was taking off in the first place? And
probably out of fear.
We don't know, because she's not alive anymore. We don't know. The same way we don't know why she was doing that, we also don't know why law enforcement was approaching her. We don't know any of these things. The unfortunate part, to piggyback on what you were saying, is when the vice president yesterday says the officer has immunity automatically, and they're basically
and Kristi Noem called her a domestic terrorist.
Right. So the entire investigation on this is not great, but I think that we as a people, we fall into traps because we go on narratives based on our politics and based on who we follow and what they say. And I'm never going to do that. And I cannot call it murder the way it's being done, because if you're someone that calls it murder, then you, in my opinion, I think that's a part of the problem too.
Well, we need to allow for investigation, but it's also hard, and it's hard to have trust when there is an absolute lack of transparency. So let's move on to what happened with Seattle police, because they were called to Evergreen with Shelley Cemetery. This is near Aurora Avenue this week, after people reported armed individuals possibly detaining someone. So officers got there quickly, and they learned that those armed people were actually federal ICE agents who had just arrested 3 men during an immigration enforcement action in that area. No one was injured. Seattle police say they were not involved in the arrest. They also had no advance notice. And Seattle Mayor Katie Wilson condemned the operation, calling it an abuse of power.
It is unacceptable to kidnap people who are simply going about their lives. There is no place for this in Seattle.
Okay, now I'm just going to point out, she said kidnap people. We don't know what happened. I mean, we literally don't know what has happened, and that is part of the problem. ICE doesn't talk. You reach out and say, okay, so what was the situation here? and there is no information. Police Chief Sean Barnes says SPD has no authority over federal agents, but officers responded because the situation looked alarming to the public, and they got a bunch of 911 calls about it. In her video statement, Mayor Wilson says she and other local leaders are working to keep all of Seattle safe.
We already have laws in place that forbid our local police from aiding ICE in most instances. The police will adhere to these laws. That's an important step. But it's also true that we have limited authority with regard to the actions of federal agencies. And I know that our existing laws are not enough to keep people safe. So I'm working with Police Chief Barnes, City Attorney Evans, immigrant rights groups, and local leaders to identify every possible legal argument, public resource, and creative tool we can use to keep the people of Seattle safe.
Okay, and I need to point out that we don't have details, again, on the people who were detained by ICE, but City Council member Bob Kettle says it appears that the federal agents first confronted the men at a nearby Home Depot on Aurora Avenue. Mm-hmm. Okay, I need to point out something, and I was trying to look into it because what we're seeing, and this is the part that causes the distrust, what we're seeing right now is not normal. In the last 20 years, local governments have disagreed with ICE before, including under President Obama. But those disagreements were mostly about the paperwork or the jail cooperation and data sharing. And enforcement was not so visible as it is right now. Even during the Bush years, large ICE raids were coordinated. They rarely caught local police off guard. So the only time tensions actually looked anything like this was during the last Trump administration. Mm-hmm. And what makes this moment different, though, is the real-time conflict. I mean, armed federal agents going into neighborhoods, unmarked vehicles, 911 calls, local police responding to ICE scenes. And what's also different, and you mentioned the Vice President, J.D. Vance, he is saying that ICE agents are in Minneapolis going door to door looking for undocumented immigrants.
Well, first of all, it was a legitimate law enforcement operation. We were going door to door to try to find criminal illegal aliens and deport them from the United States of America, because if you come to our country illegally in violation of our immigration laws, then we have the mandate, and in fact, we have the legal duty to enforce those immigration laws.
And he repeated that again on Fox last night, G.
What we've done is actually gotten 2.5 million illegal aliens out without any of the really big marquee things that we've been working on. That was just simple willpower and the President of the United States coming in and saying this is done. I think we're going to see those deportation numbers ramp up as we get more and more people online, working for ICE, going door to door and making sure that if you're an illegal alien, you've got to get out of this country.
And I guess the question would be, are you okay with that? Mass door knocking? I mean, to me, it raises issues of Fourth Amendment violations.
Ursula, no, I'm not okay with it. I'm not okay with a lot of things that's going on. But I think that if someone were to say, hey, this doesn't usually happen, and to which I say, yes, it has been happening. It's been happening for years. The problem is who it happens to. In New York, there was the stop and frisk that was happening. For me personally, I'm sure maybe you all have stories of, hey, why are you in this neighborhood? And, you're over here. Why are you there? Hey, you get pulled over. You get pulled out of your car. In Federal Way, I tell the story all the time. How me and my buddy is driving. I had a headlight out, and I get pulled out of the vehicle, guns drawn. I don't mean to sound callous or numb or jaded, but what I'm saying is that I am super grateful that people are starting to realize that people are done unfairly in this country. I'm starting to realize and I'm thankful that people understand that the people that we should trust, sometimes they're not doing the right things. But for anybody to think that this is new, this is not new. The only thing that's kind of new is the fact that we have a vice president that goes on there and says automatic immunity. What's kind of new is when they talked about mass deportation and they talked about National Guard going into cities and policing up its own citizens. Yeah, that's kind of weird and kind of new. But I hope that the next time we start to wake up and realize what it is. But I'm just going to tell you guys, some of us in this country have been going through this for years, and I really hate that anybody continues to have to go through this, right? It is not cool. It's not great, but unfortunately, there are people that have been taking advantage of having power, Ursula, for so much time.
So I guess the question is, what do you do? That's where I say peaceful protest, voting, complaining, raising issues with your delegates, saying you're not okay with this.
Hey, Ursula, when they used to stop and frisk us,
it wasn't okay then.
But it wasn't. But you can't win by saying vote. You can't. You know what I'm saying? You don't win by doing vote. What you do is you win so you can live another day. That's what you do. You do whatever you got to do to go home to your family. Like, I granted, yes, voting is great and suing when things are wrong are great, but you got to do what you got to do to go home. Nobody cares if you're right, if you're dead. I hate to say it that way, man, but y'all forced me to it. Good stuff. Would You Rather comes, not Would You Rather. Flex Fridays will happen at 9:47, and make sure you stick around. Pierce, Thurston County Sheriff Sanders joins us at 10 o'clock. And up next, Ursula, what are we doing at 9:30? I have the federal the agents in Washington driver's data.
Oh, we're going to be talking about UW.
All right.
What's happening with quarterback?
All right. Gee and Ursula.
This is TV's Dr. Travis Stork for Eggland's Best Eggs. Eggs are a staple in our diets, and there's only one egg with more delicious farm fresh taste, plus superior nutrition. Eggland's Best, with more vitamins, including 6 times more vitamin D and 10 times more vitamin E, plus 25% less saturated fat than ordinary eggs. Available in so many delicious varieties: classic, cage-free, organic, free-range, and pasture-raised. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
If you've been putting off retirement conversations because you're worried it's going to turn into a sales pitch, you're not alone. Hi, Ursula Reutin here. At Trajan Wealth, the focus starts with listening. Their advisors are fiduciaries, which means they're bound to put your needs first, and that changes the tone right away. No pressure, no promises, they're not working off commissions, and they're not pushing any specific products. With Trajan Wealth, it's about understanding where you are and having a clearer sense of what your options look like. Trajan Wealth is veteran-owned and works with families who want thoughtful guidance that fits real life. Start the new year off right with a game-changing financial plan. Call Trajan Wealth today to figure out how to make your New Year's resolution stick. Trajan, spelled Trajan. Call 206-656-3300. That's 206-656-3300, or visit TrajanWealth.com.
Advisory services through Trajan Wealth, LLC. SEC registered investment advisor. Client paid advertisement. Additional disclosures at TrajanWealth.com.
Veterans, the new year's a good time to re-examine finances. If you're struggling with bills, VA loan expert Steve Teitler of Best Mortgage says he may have a solution.
Many veterans are sitting on a lot of home equity, and even with a low mortgage rate, your total monthly payments may be a struggle. The good news is with today's lower VA loan rates, you can do a VA cash-out refinance and pay off your high-interest rate debt and roll everything into one low monthly payment. For example, one VA client saved more than $1,200 per month. And remember, with a VA loan, you can buy a home with no money down.
And you always talk to a real person, not an AI robot.
That's right. Whether you're a veteran or seeking a conventional loan, you'll talk directly to me or an experienced senior advisor, never an AI bot.
Honest advice you can trust. From Best Mortgage, the VA loan experts. 425-649-6000. Best Mortgage. 425-649-6000.
Now is your time to get into a new D.R. Horton home by taking advantage of its National Red Tag Sales event going on right now through January 25th. Stop by any of its participating communities and find select Red Tag homes at incredible pricing. So whether you're buying your first home or looking for an upgrade, you don't want to miss the Red Tag Sales event going on right now. Discover the D.R. Horton difference. Visit drhorton.com. D.R. Horton, America's builder, an equal housing opportunity builder.
Hey, this is Pete from Home Matters, a show that covers everything having to do with your home. Tune in every Saturday from 2 to 3 on KIRO Newsradio, where you'll hear from local business owners who are experts in their industries. From foundation to flooring, roofing and windows, furniture, and financial planning, it's everything in and around your home, and we've got you covered on Home Matters. If it matters to you, it matters to us here at Home Matters. Saturdays from 2 to 3 right here on KIRO Newsradio, or listen to the podcast on mynorthwest.com.
For 50 years, Bucky's Complete Auto Repair has earned local trust with honest pricing and guaranteed repairs. That's why they're Carfax preferred. No gimmicks, just great service. Bucky's.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
ZipRecruiter. KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning, I'm Heather Bosch.
Caller saying that he was shot twice by ICE and his wife was shot as well.
A 911 call in Portland where Customs and Border Control, not ICE, says agents tried to stop a car yesterday with 2 known Venezuelan gang members in it, and the driver, they say, tried to run them over. Agents opened fire. Portland Mayor Keith Wilson.
There was a time when we could take them at their word. That time is long past.
The condition of the people shot is unknown. The Department of Homeland Security maintains an ICE agent fatally shot a 37-year-old mother in Minneapolis because she was trying to run him over. KIRO 7 TV's Samantha Lomi-Bao says protesters in Seattle disagree.
Heartbreak, frustration, and anger filled Thursday's crowd. Federal officials calling the shooting self-defense, but many people here disagreed.
You can see the video, and it's all the same conclusion. She was murdered.
Candles lit, flowers laid, and voices raised.
She was murdered!
The crowd marched together, calling for government reform.
The Minneapolis shooting happened Wednesday. On the same day, ICE agents detained 3 men across from a Home Depot in North Seattle. Seattle police confirm agents were in the area. Chief Sean Barnes says they cannot interfere with federal immigration operations, but can document activity and make sure rights are being upheld. Pope Leo is urging world leaders to use diplomacy as an instrument of policy and stop relying on force. He specifically refers to Venezuela here.
I renew my appeal to respect the will of the Venezuelan people and to safeguard the human and civil rights of all, ensuring a future of stability and concord.
The U.S. Senate has advanced a resolution that would limit President Trump's ability to conduct more attacks against Venezuela. The measure would face an uphill battle in the U.S. House. The government says employers added 50,000 jobs to payrolls in December. CBS's Jill Schlesinger.
It is a job market that shows a lot of cooling since the summer of 2025, but it is not falling apart.
Microsoft is trying to quash rumors that it is planning mass layoffs. Several websites are reporting the company plans to cut up to 22,000 jobs in January. Now, longtime spokesperson Frank Shaw is posting on X that it's, quote, 100% made up. On Wall Street, the Dow is up 302 points. NASDAQ ahead 191. KIRO News Radio traffic in Bothell. All lanes have reopened on southbound I-405 at 195th Street after an earlier crash. Volumes are loosening up through Canyon Park. Travel time Alderwood to South Center is much improved at 47 minutes, about 15 longer than usual. Your alternate route Everett to Seattle on I-5 is 33 minutes. Traffic brought to you by Closets by Design. Custom storage solutions for closets, garages, home offices, and more. ClosetsByDesign.com. KIRO News Radio weather. Cloudy skies with highs in the upper 40s. It's 46 in downtown Seattle. I'm Heather Bosch.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
Welcome back to the Gee and Ursula Show. And just a reminder that we are going to have Thurston County Sheriff Derek Sanders joining us in the 10 o'clock hour. We were going to ask him about all the events that have been unfolding, not just in Minneapolis, but also here. And then just in the last few seconds, we've become aware that the Thurston County Sheriff is now in a beef on social media with the Pierce County Sheriff. So we will likely ask him about that as well. But we need to talk about what on earth is happening with our UW Huskies and this football player. Because I got to tell you, earlier this week, as my husband was ready to get his left hip replaced, he was more upset about what was happening with the football team and this quarterback, Damon Williams Jr., who had signed a contract apparently and then went back on that. And now he's coming back to the UW. Like, give us the spiel on this.
Well, first, we just had my son, G. Scott Jr., on the show a few days ago. And the one thing that both he and I agree with is college football is over as we knew it. There will be less fans of college football tomorrow than there was yesterday. There are people that are starting to be out on this thing. I know some donors that are out on this. Now, let's talk about Damon Williams. Damon Williams had a contract and had opportunity to be re-recruited by the University of Washington at $4 million, it was said.
$4 million. Okay, just let's wrap our head around that. Yeah. How old is this guy?
He's like 20.
Okay, $4 million. So he agrees to $4 million, signs on the dotted line. Yeah. Then what happened?
And then 4 days later, he jumps into the transfer portal. Now, some of my sources say that he jumped in the transfer portal because it was an opportunity for him to go and make more money. And when he did that, obviously UW fans weren't happy about it. Jed Fish, the head coach, his wife, she wasn't happy about it. She wasn't happy because of the timing in which he had let that message go during that time. And so there was a real big roar and roaring about this guy not honoring his contract.
Yeah. UW said they were going to take legal action.
Yes. And then his representation at the time, which was Dougie Fresh, better known as Doug Hendrickson, he is an agent who, by the way, he is the same agent as the head coach, Jed Fish. They both have the same agent.
That's weird.
That's weird. So Doug comes out yesterday and says, hey, I am releasing him as a client. After he does that, another agent, I don't know his last name, but Darren lets everybody know, like, hey, we're not making any comments right now. And then it was said that he's going to be coming back. What I think happened with Damon Williams is someone got to him and said, you're going to lose, and whatever school you go to, that school is going to have to pay University of Washington that $4 million. That's number one. Number two, not only will that happen, but just in life, this will not be a good look. Even if you make $6 million as opposed to the $4 million.
You're not a man of your word. You signed on the dotted line, and then you took back your word.
Go back to the University of Washington. And so that's what he did. But I want to show everybody, because people say, well, who are the people in his corner? They say things like that. That's the most popular things that people say.
Who was? I do want to know, who was counseling him to, after you sign a contract? Yeah, sometimes you sign a contract and then other people will find you even more attractive and offer you even more lucrative offers. But you need to understand, legally, you cannot jump ship.
Don't coaches do that all the time, though?
They do it all the time. When you ask who is in the corner, I want to tell you guys how it goes. When you get ready, you're in high school, you got your parents and mom and dad, and you get to college, you still got mom and dad. But once you are 20, 21 years old, and you have an opportunity to get a $4 million contract, you go from being the son to the father. You go from being the son to the patriarch.
Now you're the provider for the.
I'm not saying you're the provider, but you make the most money. And it's hard to tell the patriarch or the person that makes the most money in the family what to do. So imagine being 20 years old, 20, and being the breadwinner of your family. That is a lot of pressure. Now, I am not, what I'm saying is I'm trying to have people understand that right now the kid is being demonized. But just remember, he's only like 20 years old.
Well, he's 20 years old, yes, which is why when I talked to you off the air, I said, I am not...
they say he's 19. Oh, wow.
Yeah, I am not blaming him per se, even though, okay, yeah, he's an adult and he can make decisions. But I am blaming the people he was surrounded by who told him to continue being greedy. And then on top of that, the announcement was made during the funeral of another Husky athlete, which the timing is awful. I saw that the head coach's wife was blasting him on social media. Now, my question is, if he comes back to UW, do they embrace him, or does that create tension in the locker room?
Go win. Winning cures all. So, yeah, he's going to go back there, and if things go right for UW, yes, all will be forgiven. That's just how life is. We all at some point in time do something.
As long as he wins. If the team isn't great,
that's
right?
America.
Yeah,
that's
if
America.
the team isn't great, it'll be like, yeah, this guy, just caused a toxic culture.
If the team isn't great, sure, we can blame Damon, but we could also say something about the head coach's wife and her comments on social media, blasting the kid. We could also talk about a lot of the adults that are UW fans blasting the kid. So everybody got their hand in it. I'm not a UW fan. So,
Gee, can you explain this to me? Because, this kid is 19. He has a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to make some money. There's no guarantee he doesn't play one more snap, break his leg, and he never plays again. Now, you have head coaches who go into the homes of these kids that they recruit. They sit down. They tell their families, I'm going to take care of your son and his future. They make that promise face-to-face to all those kids and their parents. And then they leave when they still have 4 years left on their contract. Why is this 19-year-old kid getting put on blast when that never happens with coaches?
Because most people don't care about the kids or the players. They only care about what the win-loss column is for UW. I mean, wait, yeah. real quick. Since we're talking, you don't think some of these UW fans demonized me back in the day? Can we talk about that? I ain't forgot.
For what? Because you didn't make your son go there?
You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, the number one reason why it's all about the wins and losses. 90% of the people don't care about the kid. They don't have no care about the kids. Can this kid help my team win or lose?
Yeah. What it does, though, is just continues to foul up the taste of college football in terms of fans like myself who are not diehard. Yeah. All I just think is ugh.
Well, Flex Fridays is going to save the day.
Okay.
So coming up next, we'll explain Flex Fridays next. Gee Ursula.
Seattle voters wanted change.
I campaigned on affordability, on homelessness, on taxing the rich.
Can Mayor Wilson live up to the promises of candidate Wilson?
The self-proclaimed progressive socialist
managing high expectations.
Trusted Northwest News voices you depend on.
More government programs, which means more tax dollars.
KIRO News Radio on 97.3 FM. And the KIRO Newsradio app.
Breast cancer is a tough battle for anyone to fight. But when you can't work, care for your kids, or even put food on the table, that diagnosis can be devastating. I'm Dr. Suzette Miranda, a plastic surgeon who is proud to support Northwest Hope and Healing. Our mission is to provide a lifeline for breast and gynecologic cancer patients. We cover essentials like food, utilities, and childcare, so patients can focus on healing. For more than 25 years, Northwest Hope and Healing has distributed over $3 million to thousands of local cancer patients, and you can help make a difference in our community. Join us on Saturday, January 31st for Cork, Fork, and Support, an afternoon of fine wine, gourmet cuisine, and inspiration at Mary Hill Winery in the heart of Woodinville wine country. Get your tickets now for Cork, Fork, and Support on January 31st. Go to nwhopeandhealing.org to learn more. That's nwhopeandhealing.org.
I love the fact that Mike Novak sells more homes than anybody else. This guy works so hard. You know what's happening? People are selling their homes again. And if you don't have Mike Novak's name on that sign, well, you're wasting your time and your house is just going to be sitting on the market. Mike is so confident that he can sell your house quickly. And for more, you'll pay no commission if Mike Novak doesn't sell that home in 21 days. So go to meetthenovaks.com. I'll spell Novaks for you. Novaks. Meetthenovaks.com.
Guys, low energy, low drive, or strength not what it used to be? For many men, it's low testosterone. At Revive Men's Health Washington, start with a free T-check exam and consultation to get real answers. And this month only, qualified patients may receive 25% off testosterone replacement therapy. Call 206-529-1111 or visit revivemenshealth.com. Terms apply. Must medically qualify.
Now is your time to get into a new D.R. Horton home by taking advantage of its National Red Tag Sales event going on right now through January 25th. Stop by any of its participating communities and find select Red Tag homes at incredible pricing. So whether you're buying your first home or looking for an upgrade, you don't want to miss the Red Tag Sales event going on right now. Discover the D.R. Horton difference. Visit drhorton.com. D.R. Horton, America's builder and equal housing opportunity builder.
For over 50 years, Bucky's Complete Auto Repair has been the one locals trust for honest pricing, expert service, and guaranteed repairs. This dedication has earned them a Carfax Preferred designation. At Bucky's, every customer gets detailed Carfax updates, timely service reminders, and a full service history, all at your fingertips. With 16 family-owned locations, no appointment needed, and easy financing, Bucky's makes auto care simple. Visit Bucky's.com today and drive with confidence. Bucky's.com.
What does VA mean to me?
A place for my daughter to call home. Thanks to the VA Home Loan.
A new lease on life. The best healthcare team I've ever had is here at VA.
And education, and the opportunity to open doors I never thought possible with my GI Bill.
The financial support I need to manage the disabilities I developed because of my service.
Get what you earned. Visit choose.va.gov.
Not all veterans are eligible for the type or amount of benefits mentioned here.
The new year brings new health goals and wealth goals. Protecting your identity is an important step. Your info is in endless places that could expose you to identity theft, leading to lost funds. LifeLock monitors millions of data points per second. If your identity is stolen, our restoration specialists will fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Resolve to make identity health and wealth part of your New Year's goals with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS. Visit lifelock.com. Terms apply.
With the new IHOP value menu, $6 is all it takes to go to your happy place, where stacks of pancakes with bacon and eggs are just $6 every day. French toast, sausage, and eggs are, you guessed it, $6. And fluffy omelets come with a side of pancakes and only cost $6. Go to your happy plates every day at IHOP. $7 in some locations. Available every day for a limited time at participating restaurants in the U.S. Hours may vary. No substitutions. Not valid with other discounts or promotions. Prices may vary.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It is the Gee Ursula Show. Come on now. I know it's Fresh Fridays, but hey, every time at 9:47 on a Friday, we do Flex Fridays. I was excited. I woke up this morning and I said to myself, self,
loving you is the most important thing in the world.
How long was that back fat statement? That was like at the very beginning of our show. Yeah, you really dug deep on that one.
Hey, so you worked out this week, Ursula.
Yes,
and by the way,
and it sounds so pathetic because I went to the gym once this week, but in my defense, it was one more time than I went the week before. And I'm going to ramp up to, my goal would be 3 times a week.
Right.
But my doctor said at least one day a week. That's when I'm going to hold you to account. You need to go at least one day a week, and I want you to do weights.
Right.
So I did weights. what I need to do now, Mark is laid up. And I need to bring my son with me. But what I've decided to do is I'm going to hire a trainer, which I'm fortunate enough to be able to do that. And the club has trainers. And I think I need to just make sure that I'm doing it properly. Okay. And then I think doing that and having someone there at least one other time a week will motivate me to, continue.
Right. First of all, congrats. That's awesome.
I mean, I did like half hour on the treadmill and then I did half hour of weights.
So you were in there for an hour for your first time?
Yes.
Now, see, I would argue that if you're going to the gym for the first time to do something, I would argue going for an hour is too much.
Really?
Yeah, because what you don't want to do is you don't want to discourage yourself. Sometimes people go in there and they're just like,
walking is not a big deal to me, though. So the treadmill was not a big deal.
Awesome.
And I can do show prep and that kind of thing. And so that doesn't tire me out. That's something that I do anyway, walking.
Right.
But it was just adding the weight training.
And if you're listening right now, Flex Fridays is going to be this. Every Friday at 9:47, we all check in with each other to see if you at least worked out one time during the week. And I think that if you go and you do something for 5 minutes and you do something for 10 minutes and you do it once a week, you will, at your own pace, at some point, you're going to say, maybe I can do a little bit more.
Yes.
But don't let anyone tell you, well, that's not enough. No, enough is what you do. And at some point, you will increase. I remember I knew someone, and I told them, they were like, oh, I just don't really know what to do when I go in the gym. I said, well, just go in it. Just go in it. Even if you're in there for 5 minutes, and you walk in there for 5 minutes, and you drink some water, and you maybe go to the bathroom, and you just leave. You went to the gym one time. Like, you know what I mean? Like, a lot of people can't say that they have done that.
Well, I will tell you that the gym was very full, and I saw a lot of people working with trainers, and this is the crowd that makes the New Year's resolutions.
What time did you go?
This is what
5
Mark
or
told
6
me.
o'clock?
Yes, Mark told me it was not a good time. It was a little closer to 6:30.
Okay.
Yeah, so I had I couldn't even pull my phone out comfortably. Because
they have a no phone
policy,
Yeah.
exactly. So, but I love that Ty and Milton said he jumped in. Nick, you did something.
Nick,
yeah, I do a little running here and there since I'm trying to get back into it starting since last month to get a head start on the resolution. So try and go like 3 or 4 times a week. And, I just did a little 5K yesterday, and I thought I'll join in on the Flex Friday and let them know what I'm doing. But to your guys' point, I think it is important for people to at least go into the gym or do something, even if it's not too much, because it's important that you want to come back every time. And don't exert yourself too hard at the start. Don't put too much pressure on yourself, because you want to be encouraged to come back. And if you come back after the first day all sore and tired and you're like, what did I do to myself? It's actually discouraging you to go back. So go in there, don't work too hard or above your level, and then it'll make you keep coming back.
I mean, believe it or not, I used to actually be an athlete. So I'm maybe in my head, I'm thinking, when I say athlete, I mean, I used to play competitive tennis, competitive swimming, and other stuff. Right. And so I keep thinking that I should just bounce back, but I have to remember I'm a few years older too.
Yeah.
So but Roger in University Place, he went to the gym alone on Monday. He's going with one of his daughters today. He sent us a picture. We want you to be part of this Flex Friday. Post your pictures on our Gee and Ursula Show Facebook page. But these days you go every morning. What are you doing every day?
Well, I get in there. At 5 in the morning. And as soon as I start off with 20 minutes of cardio on the treadmill. And I do that because that's just more of my way of kind of waking up, if you will. And by the way, I'm not running because I don't want my knees and hips to mess up. So I do uphill incline walking at 3 miles an hour at level 12.
Okay.
And I do that for 20 minutes to start.
Yeah, level 12.
And then after that, whatever my workout is going to be for the day. So whether it is biceps or triceps on Mondays sometimes, or shoulders and abs or legs. But the point I want to tell you guys, ChatGPT is heaven sent. So if you don't have a trainer, Ask ChatGPT, hey, put me through a 5-minute workout or a 10-minute workout or a 30-minute workout. And this part is really important because, first of all, Ursula, I'm glad you did an hour. That's pretty cool to do that on your first time.
Yeah, but a bunch of people are saying what you said, which was maybe I need to, like I said, if it wasn't, half of it was on a treadmill, it wasn't a big deal.
Because the goal is you want to come back the next week.
Exactly.
And the
That's
next
right.
week. And the next week.
David in the 206 says the hardest part about going to the gym is the first step out the door of your house. True that.
Does it count for my participation this week that I watched Rocky flex on Drago with the kids?
It's a thought that's percolating in your mind.
Yeah. So anyway, let's keep doing it, and let's see, next Friday we'll do it again. And Ursula,
yes,
are you going to the gym this weekend or no?
Yes.
You are?
Yes.
Look at you.
Yes.
That's
just trying to avoid the rush hour of the gym.
Yes,
you know?
I'm going to try to find the good times.
Okay, listen, go and fill up your coffee cup or your water because coming up, we got a guest. That's right. Thurston County Sheriff Derek Sanders joins us. He's going to explain your rights when you're pulled over by ICE. We'll ask him about that, and we'll ask him much more. Grateful for Sheriff Sanders to join us. He joins us next. Gee Ursula.
This is your city.
Seattle voters have spoken, and they wanted change.
Wilson really resonated, especially with some younger voters.
On the terms of working people, make it work for them.
Katie Wilson is just actually not afraid to say she's a socialist.
What challenges does the political newcomer face once taking office?
Never having any managerial experience.
Stay with KIRO News Radio and MyNorthwest.com for the latest.
Change takes time, and we don't give it time.
And the KIRO News Radio app.
Dan owed an unbelievable amount of money to the IRS.
I got behind on my taxes. It's a horrible feeling.
He was in denial.
And when I got those letters from the IRS, you wanted to act like they didn't exist.
Finally, Dan turned to Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm. A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau, they've resolved over $1 billion for their clients.
Optima got me a settlement with the IRS. These people are really people-friendly. It was every bit of a new lease on life for me.
The fast action and the great results made Dan's head spin.
I felt like I was in a dream, but it's real, and I have paperwork to prove it. They got the job done, and life is good.
For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation.
If you're worried about what's going to happen with the IRS, stop worrying. Make the call now.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Now is your time to get into a new D.R. Horton home by taking advantage of its National Red Tag Sales event going on right now through January 25th. Stop by any of its participating communities and find select Red Tag homes at incredible pricing. So whether you're buying your first home or looking for an upgrade, you don't want to miss the Red Tag Sales event going on right now. Discover the D.R. Horton difference. Visit drhorton.com. D.R. Horton, America's builder and equal housing opportunity builder. Start having fun. Caesar Sportsbook at Muckleshoot Casino Resort is your #1 place to eat, drink, watch, and have fun. Keep up with your favorite sports anywhere and everywhere on property with the mobile app. Visit MuckleshootCasino.com today. Scan the QR code and let the play begin.
Muckleshoot. Styles change. 12s grow. But Seahawks love? That's forever. From the young fans in their fresh new jerseys to the lifelong 12s in their throwback jackets. At the Pro Shop, we've got gear for 12s of every age and every walk of life. This is the Pro Shop. Shop official Seahawks gear in-store at Lumen Field and the Landing in Renton, or online at Seahawks.com/Pro Shop.
You know the rush when you reach that goal, when something you've worked for pays off. That's success. At University of Maryland Global Campus, we believe you should never stop chasing it. That's why we offer a skills-based education that helps move your career forward. Learn how to apply emerging technologies like AI and data science. Build your leadership and critical thinking skills. Apply by February 11th and save with no application fee. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment? That's a lie. Most timeshares can be bought online for $1. To find out what your timeshare is worth and to cancel it, call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit kit free with all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley for your free exit info guide. 800-959-3388. That's 800-959-3388.
Compassion, communication, results. That's Pendergast Law Personal Injury Lawyers. Go to pendergastlaw.com. That's pendergastlaw.com.
KIRO FM and HD1 Tacoma, Seattle. This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Pfizer.
I'm Steve Kathan. Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Fry renews a call for the federal government to allow local investigators to analyze the fatal ICE shooting there.
This is not the time to bend the rules. This is a time to follow the law. This is not a time to hide from the facts. This is a time to embrace them, making sure that we're pushing for transparency every step of the way.
CBS's Usher Qureshi.
They are hopeful that the FBI will be more transparent and provide some information to the public that will satisfy them. We've heard from leaders. Governor Walz has said that this needs to be a transparent investigation to keep the confidence of Minnesotans alive when there is such a divide about what actually went down and who was responsible and who should be held accountable.
The Minneapolis school system says it will offer families remote learning amid the stepped-up federal immigration crackdown. Now to Portland, Oregon, where 2 people were shot by federal agents touching off protests there. CBS's Gwen Baumgardner has the latest.
The Department of Homeland Security says it was conducting a targeted vehicle stop involving 2 suspected Venezuelan members of the Tren de Aragua gang who recently entered the U.S. illegally. In a statement on X this morning, DHS officials identified the pair, adding they, quote, weaponized their vehicle against Border Patrol. The agent took immediate action to defend himself and others, shooting them.
The U.S. military says forces this morning boarded an oil tanker in the Caribbean. CBS's Natalie Brand.
Now we've seen 5 vessels seized after the latest action reported by U.S. Southern Command today. U.S. forces seen boarding that vessel, identified as the Olena.
President Trump is meeting today with oil industry executives about investment in Venezuela. A human rights group says Venezuela's released 8 people from prison, a day after vowing to release a significant number of political prisoners. Well, the Trump administration is said to be considering sending lump sum payments to people in Greenland to convince them that a U.S. takeover is a good thing.
Sources tell Reuters administration officials have discussed payments of up to $100,000. Jens Fredrik Nielsen is Greenland's prime minister.
We will never be for sale and we will never be Americans.
Mikkel Runge-Olesen at the Danish Institute for International Studies understands why the U.S. wants Greenland for national security purposes, but he doesn't think a takeover is necessary.
The U.S. would probably be able to get more or less anything it needs in Greenland by just asking nicely.
Michael Wallace, CBS News.
The government says employers added 50,000 jobs last month. Right now on Wall Street, the Dow is up 202 points. The S&P is up 41. This is CBS News.
You still got it, but your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Sponsored by Pfizer.
The latest on an ICE operation in Seattle, but first, KIRO Newsradio traffic. In Bothell, all lanes have reopened on southbound I-405 at 195th Street after an earlier crash. Volumes loosening up through Canyon Park right now. Travel time Alderwood to South Center, still about 5 to 10 minutes longer than typical. Everett to Seattle, less than 5 minutes over. Snoqualmie Pass, bare and wet. Traction tires advised there. Stevens Pass, compact snow and ice. Chains required unless you have all-wheel drive. Traffic brought to you by Subaru of Puyallup. Confident winter driving starts at Subaru of Puyallup. Find stress-free pricing and buying at SubaruofPuyallup.com.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and MyNorthwest.com.
Good morning, I'm Heather Bosch. We're learning about an ICE operation in Seattle this week. Witnesses tell police ICE detained 3 men across the street from a Home Depot on Aurora Avenue. Seattle City Council member Bob Kettle.
It's sad to me that they're masked up and basically in full gear. You know, as a veteran of Iraq, in Baghdad 0304, I don't think we need full battle rattle at the Home Depot on Aurora.
No details yet on the individuals who were detained by ICE. We have reached out to the agency for comment. The action came on the same day an ICE agent fatally shot a mother in Minneapolis, and a day before, Border Patrol shot and wounded 2 people in Portland. The families of the 4 University of Idaho students stabbed to death in 2022 are suing Washington State University. The lawsuit, obtained by the New York Times, claims WSU ignored warnings about convicted killer Brian Kohberger, who was a graduate student there. The families say the school received at least 13 complaints about him stalking and harassing women. A 45-year-old Bremerton man is being held without bail in the death of a Bothell woman. The latest from KIRO 7 TV's Jason Sloss.
He was arrested Wednesday in the death of Mallory Barber, who was reported missing after she left her home in Bothell back on June 24th. According to court documents, a grouse hunter found her naked, decomposed body in the woods back on September 15th near SR3 and Pickering Road in Mason County. Investigators found Barbara's clothing and 2 .45 caliber shell casings on the ground nearby. An autopsy revealed she was shot in the head and in the ribs.
The man is Barbara's former roommate. The Ship Canal Bridge is the most heavily traveled bridge in Seattle, and it's going to shut down this weekend for construction. Washington State Transportation Secretary Julie Meredith.
We will fully close northbound I-5 this weekend from I-90 to Northeast 45th Street starting at midnight, January 9th, and reopening at 5 a.m., January 12th.
The closure will allow the setup of safe construction zones to protect workers for an extended restoration and 2 northbound lane closures through 2026. This week's winter storm dropped heavy snow across the mountains. Between Tuesday and Thursday, the National Weather Service says Paradise got the most at 35 inches of snow. KIRO Newsradio weather, cloudy skies today with highs in the upper 40s. It's 47 in downtown Seattle. I'm Heather Bosch.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with the KIRO Newsradio App. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO Newsradio, Northwest News.
This is the Gee and Ursula Show with G. Scott and Ursula Reutin.
Happy Fresh Fridays, everybody. It is the Gee and Ursula Show. Grateful that you all hang out with us. Happy New Year to you. Good morning, Ursula.
Good morning. And just a reminder that our text line is open for you. And I'm happy to say that so many of you have joined us on Flex Friday, which we do at 9:47. So many people have started an exercise regime to be part of our Gee and Ursula Show community of folks who want to get in shape in 2026.
Bro.
So, and I also wanted to say thank you to all of you who've given me some tips. James in Issaquah was saying, inviting me to play tennis with them, this group in Issaquah. And yes, I do plan to get back to the tennis as well. But just thank you so much for your encouragement. Appreciate that so much. Again, 888-973-5476, 888-973 KIRO.
What's new at 10?
Local law enforcement leaders are now weighing in on the killing of Renee Good in Minneapolis, and the Thurston County Sheriff is not pulling any punches. He wrote that every respectable modern law enforcement agency in the country has training and policy that, if adhered to, would result in Renee still being alive today. That is a quote, and it is a quote from Sheriff Derek Sanders, who joins us live now on the Gee and Ursula Show. Good morning, Sheriff.
Morning.
So let's just start there. Why did you write that and explain that for us?
Yeah, it's really straightforward for me. I think it's important for people to understand the nuance that there are many layers of law enforcement, that law enforcement is broken up into, all these different states with all these different circuit courts and different layers of training. And I think it's important for Washington State and our Washington State legislature to acknowledge that it's not a one-size-fits-all, and that law enforcement in Washington State operates under very specific case law. And I would argue that we've also got some pretty darn good training up here, and the results speak for themselves. So I thought it was important to contextualize how important good tactics and training are to the outcome of critical incidents.
So looking at the situation in Minneapolis, where would the training that you get here have helped in that situation?
Well, I'll speak specifically to Thurston County Sheriff's Office. If you've followed along with the Sheriff's Office over the last 3 years, you know that we've had no shortage of close calls. Lots of scenarios that I've watched over the last few years where deputies, and even officers within our county could absolutely draw their firearm and use it. But what we found time and time again is that utilizing the principles of distance and cover to buy time allows us to slow down and make better decisions. That's just a fact about human beings. The more time we have to make a decision, oftentimes the better that decision can be. When we close the distance and don't utilize cover, that's when we are getting into rush decision making. And so, we specifically train deputies not to stand in front of vehicles. We specifically train how to engage in felony stops. And this is ongoing practice. We've changed our own tactics just in the last few years about where we stand on felony stops and how we communicate, making sure that one person is giving commands during these incidents. Because as the person with a lot of guns pointed at them, you're trying to figure out how to comply. And those commands need to be very clear. They need to be concise. It needs to be consistent. And the tactics on our end have a huge impact on the outcome of those incidents.
Sheriff Sanders, what's your advice to drivers right now who maybe they might fear their rights if could be violated if an ICE stop? But if an ICE were to stop a driver, what is your advice to them?
Well, I don't know all the legalities of ICE, quite frankly, because I'm not aware of any actual authority that allows them to conduct traffic stops on legal citizens, I guess we'll say it that way. So I'm still trying to develop my mind around that. The way that I've kind of understood ICE is they're almost like probation officers. They are there to enforce status offenses. Your status of the country is you're not valid. DOC officers, probation officers don't go around making arrests and pulling people over in school zones and responding to domestic violence calls and developing probable cause. So I'm still a little shaky there on exactly how that process works, and there could be something I'm not aware of. But my recommendation would be, do the best that you can of what you're told. At the end of the day, there is validity to the point of we don't want back and forth. We do not want to have uncertainty in these calls. And that's true for every law enforcement officer. But my recommendation for you is to pull over to a safe place. You are always lawfully allowed to record the police in Washington state. And bystanders are allowed to record the police as well. I've never taken issue with individuals wanting to record us, and we should have our body cameras on as well.
You are hearing Thurston County Sheriff Derek Sanders. He is on the job, and appreciate you joining us. If you watch on YouTube, you can watch this interview as well. I want to go back to the situation in Minneapolis. Given your training, specifically, how would it have been handled if this involved your deputies trying to approach Renee?
Well, kind of what I talked about in my Facebook post, and this was kind of what was starting to generate in my mind, is that you don't see a lot of Thurston County deputies hanging on to cars that try to flee. You don't see us running in front of cars. You don't see us, trying to reach in and dive through windows and things like that. That's how we get hurt. And there's a big element here that I really care about, which is officer safety as well. I don't want citizens to get hurt. I don't want the people we contact to get hurt. I don't want our officers to get hurt either, our deputies. So for me, I think that this was a scenario where I saw firearms coming out and all that stuff. So I'm trying to figure out if it was a felony stop or what the purpose was. But you want to ensure that you're not placing yourself in officer-induced jeopardy. You're not standing in front of vehicles, that your communication is concise. Ma'am, turn the car off, step out of the vehicle for me. At that point in time, if you're not getting compliance, you should be prepared to deal with the next piece, which is she's probably going to drive off. So you need to start developing that plan. I can tell you in Thurston County, we would probably get a grappler in there and deal with getting that person into custody. But when they make that decision to start engaging in a felony pursuit, that's a whole different world. But we deal a lot with people who refuse to get out of vehicles. And the side of the vehicle is the safest place to be if they're going to take off.
I got to tell you, Sheriff Sanders, it makes me a little nervous. Not everybody knows what to do. It's not an exact blanket answer on that. But I do want to ask this. Can you, as local law enforcement, can you guys tell ICE that they can't pull someone over? Can you tell them to stand down? What is that about? If it were to happen in Thurston County right now, can you all tell ICE to stand down?
I don't think so. No, I don't believe that local law enforcement has any real jurisdiction over federal operations. And quite frankly, the last thing I want is some sort of law enforcement on law enforcement, use of force, shooting, whatever that escalates into, and all of a sudden egos are getting big and jurisdiction is everyone's arguing. Honestly, this is one of those scenarios, and I know no one wants to hear this. It needs to be dealt with in court. We need answers from our courts about exactly what the scope is, exactly what they can and can't do, and then ultimately you would need a director of whoever they report to obviously enforce that policy and that directive.
Sheriff Sanders, how long have you been in law enforcement?
10 years.
Do you
9 years? Yeah, 10.
Do you
10 years.
remember a time like this where there is this feeling between federal and local authorities? Can you equate what we're going through right now to any time in the last decade?
Not in my career. No, this is new territory, quite frankly. And my own opinion is it's bad governance between the state and the federal the federal government. I truly feel like everyone's dug in on their side, and there is no room for gray here. There is no room for there's no room for anything. You either are pro-ICE or you're against ICE. You are either pro-immigration or against immigration. There is no gray being allowed in these conversations. And I'll go a little bit further. Obviously Washington state law explicitly states that we're not to communicate with ICE. We're not to cooperate. Well, simultaneously, I get a lot of calls when an ICE operation happens of what happened. How would I know? I'm not communicating with them. So I think it's also a little disingenuous to insinuate that the federal government should be communicating with us when we're refusing to communicate with them. All the laws have severed ties. So this is what you get instead. You get kind of this irrational process where there's no communication. No one really knows what's happening. Communication lines have been completely severed. And this is the outcome. So it would be really, really refreshing to see our state and our federal government come together and really try to work through this problem together.
Sheriff Sanders, you mentioned ego a second ago, and for some reason, I really, in talking to you, I don't feel that from you at all. What was it early in your career that, in your 9-10-year career, what was it that happened to you maybe that has shaped you to be the way that you are right now?
When I was young, I think it wasn't necessarily something that I think I developed in my career as a law enforcement officer. I think most of it was pulled from childhood experiences of having police in my household all the time. But, having a bad cop in your house ain't good. And having a good cop in your house who's there to help you is really good. And so it's such polar opposites of just how impactful policing can be. And so I draw a lot of my desire to really, immigration stuff is like my least favorite topic because it's not really inherent to local policing. But at the end of the day, all of my drive is to provide the best possible policing services to the citizens of Thurston County, period. That's it. And I just feel like when you can build that community relationship and you can really get to know people and what the expectations are from both sides, there's almost nothing that is out of reach if community and law enforcement are working together on problems.
This is Thurston County Sheriff Derek Sanders. In your post, Sheriff, you also called out a fellow law enforcement leader, and you said, I find it also disturbing that we have an elected sheriff in our state mocking Renee's death on social media. I understand I assume you're referring to the Pierce County Sheriff, and you kind of got into it with him on social media. Explain your position on that.
Him and I contrast well. That's all I'll say.
If anyone, I appreciate that. If anyone has heard Pierce County Sheriff Keith Swank on our air, that's probably all you need to say. But I do need to ask you one more thing. You said policing must evolve or risk extinction. What do you mean by that?
So, law enforcement, we are type A personalities. We like to be right. When I show up on a traffic stop and I pulled you over, what do you always hear? Stop arguing with the cop. You're never going to win the argument. They're in a position of authority. And people in positions of authority have to some extent, express a sense of righteousness because otherwise you get walked over. You get walked all over, right? So you show up imagine if I pulled you over on a traffic stop and I said, Hi, Ursula. I'm Deputy Sanders at the Sheriff's Office. And the reason I stopped you is because I think you were speeding back there. What would you say? You would say, no, I
wasn't. Yeah, exactly.
You show up and you say, the reason I stopped you is for speeding. Can I please have your license, insurance, registration? So you have to be assertive in law enforcement. That's understood. What that doesn't mean is that we acknowledge we're always right. I'll give you a really good example. The old tactics back in the day after a pursuit was that you ran up to the side of the car and you immediately started punching windows out and you tried to reach in and grab people. They'd drive off, you'd shoot. It just turned into all these nightmares. Our best practices today are to get out of our car, retreat to the back of our car, create separation, put a barrier in between us and the suspect, and then have one person call out a felony, stop and communicate. That is an example of acknowledging that prior tactics weren't meeting the demand. They weren't meeting the expectations that we had, and it also wasn't safe for us. We were getting hurt in the process. I think that's kind of my point. If we don't evolve, we're going to continue to perish, not only physically, but we're also going to perish in the eyes of our community who don't believe that we're meeting expectations. So we always have to be willing to say, is there a better way? Is there a better way we could do this to push forward? So that's kind of my thought about we have to evolve and go.
Sheriff Sanders, I'm around the Seahawks a lot and a lot of the players, and I always ask them one thing about football players or just in general, people will love to talk about their peers. Like I'll ask Jackson Smith-Njigba, who are some other good wide receivers that he respects in the league that he rocks with. Let me ask you, give me some other sheriffs in the state that you rock with. Like you go like, hey, I like Buddy over here. I like Buddy over there. Who you got?
I really like Sheriff Sperling in Mason County. Long decorated career with the State Patrol. He's been with Mason County for some time as well. And so that's someone who I definitely have a lot of admiration for. Honestly, I don't spend a lot of time, and you'll find this, I don't spend a lot of time with other sheriffs. I spend so much time right here in Thurston County. So I'm going to be totally honest with you. I don't have a really strong relationship with a lot of the other sheriffs in this state. I know it's a big thing for them to get together and do those things, but my thought process has always been that I belong here. I belong right here in Thurston County, spending time with my people, spending time with my employees, spending time with the citizens of my county, and that's where I'm going to be most effective. That's not to say there aren't good sheriffs across the state. I think Sheriff Crete over on the east side is great. I think Sheriff Sperling is great. I would also say I really like Sheriff Cole Tyndall. She's not elected. She's an appointed sheriff. So there's all this debate about, is she a real sheriff? I'll tell you what, when you talk to King County deputies, I've only heard good things about her, which tells me that she's doing a good job for her people, if that's what they have to say about their appointed sheriff. So there's no shortage of great sheriffs in this state. And I think that they're all looking around and we're in a tough spot right now. It's a really tough spot to be in law enforcement leadership in Washington State.
Are you having a tough time recruiting for Thurston County Sheriff?
Did you say no?
No, we are not.
Oh, good. So you don't have, because I know a lot of other law enforcement agencies are having a tough time recruiting, but are you fully staffed?
We're not fully staffed because we're still filling positions from the new tax that we passed. So we got 27 new commission positions, and I have about half of those left to fill. But I believe our entry-level candidate roster right now is sitting at about 550 candidates for those 15 positions, and then we've got some lateral transfers in the process with us as well. So.
Well, I think that speaks to your leadership as well and what's going on in Thurston County. Sheriff Derek Sanders, we appreciate your time and your candor. Thank you so much.
Hey, before we go, hey, Sheriff, I know why you be in a good mood all the time. You be pulling up the Dutch Bros all the time getting coffee, don't you?
So Dutch Bros is actually kind of like a last resort for me. Okay. I've switched to Celsius, and I can't tell you how much healthier I feel after dropping a Red Bull. I drink a lot of Celsius, no sugar. I'm still waking up. I feel so much better.
All right. Hey, man, we got to get you on. Thanks, Sheriff. Appreciate you, man.
Thank you so much.
I like that dude. I really do. Seriously.
I appreciate how open he is, how he doesn't worry about what other law enforcement is going to think of what he says. He's trying to do right by Thurston County. And he makes himself accessible. That's great.
And the part where I talked about ego, did you see the way he was talking? And you see how he was like, well, I'm not really too sure about that. You know what I mean? I just love people that bring that approach and don't have this.
Allie in Tacoma says, what a pleasure to listen to. Retired Puyallup sheriff's deputy also texted in and said, thank you for having the sheriff on.
All right. Coming up next on the show at 10:47, we'll have scenarios. But at 10:30, are you committing this friendship faux pas? Do you avoid friends who do this to you? Well, we'll be talking about it next. Gee and Ursula.
After voters made it clear they want change,
that I will faithfully conduct myself as the mayor of the city of Seattle.
What should Seattle residents expect from Mayor Katie Wilson?
She talked a lot about our affordability crisis.
Northwest News voices you depend on.
It's a misdiagnosis of the problem. You believe government can solve this problem.
KIRO News Radio on 97.3 FM. The KIRO News Radio app with opinion and analysis at mynorthwest.com.
If you've ever felt like your finances are spread out all over the place, you got different accounts, you have different ideas, no real clear picture or roadmap, you are not alone. And that's why I'm going to encourage you to contact Trajan Wealth, because at Trajan Wealth, that is exactly where the conversation starts. Their advisors are fiduciaries, meaning they're obligated to put your needs first. They're not going to be pushing any specific products or forcing you to make any rush decisions. At Trajan Wealth, they take the time to understand what matters to you, how your life looks like right now, and what you want it to support in the years ahead. And instead of adding more complexity, they're going to help you understand how all those pieces that you already have fit together, and they're going to do it clearly and calmly. Trajan Wealth is veteran-owned. They work with families who want to be thoughtful about what they've built. Trajan is spelled Trajan. Call 206-656-3300, 206-656-3300 for a free consultation today, or you can always visit TrajanWealth.com.
Advisory services through Trajan Wealth, LLC. SEC registered investment advisor. Client paid advertisement. Additional disclosures at TrajanWealth.com.
1-877 Cards for Kids. KARS Cards for Kids. 1-877 Cards for Kids. Donate your card today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it to Cars for Kids. Call 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS to reach a friendly live agent. Donation's super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now, 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS. That's Cars with a K to donate your car today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too? Go to carsforkids.org. That's carsforkids.org.
All right, here's a quick confession. The reason Nick, my wife, is going to Longevity Medical Clinic is because why?
I got sick of watching you sleep at night when I was awake.
Wait a minute. Wait. Here's what would happen. I'd be asleep because I've got my hormones balanced thanks to Longevity Medical Clinic. I'm asleep, and then Nick would go, "Are you asleep? Are you sleeping? That's not fair. I can't sleep." I'm like, "So you're going to wake me up?"
Yes, because I didn't want you to have more energy than I would the next day, and I was up all night.
So what did I say to you? I said, so go to the Longevity Medical Clinic. Do the same thing I did. Get your hormones balanced. You'll sleep better, right?
And I did.
Right. You don't have to wake me up anymore and go, it's not fair that you're sleeping.
I know.
But didn't you see that it wasn't fair that you were waking me up?
Yes, because now you're the one taking the dogs out because I'm still asleep in the morning.
So we're both getting good night's sleep. We're both getting lots of energy, and we're happy.
You want me to tell you why? Because my hormones are now balanced.
Okay, I don't want to hear about your hormones right now. So be like Nick and get a free health analysis at lmclinic.com. That's lmclinic.com.
Now is your time to get into a new D.R. Horton home by taking advantage of its National Red Tag Sales event going on right now through January 25th. Stop by any of its participating communities and find select Red Tag homes at incredible pricing. So whether you're buying your first home or looking for an upgrade, you don't want to miss the Red Tag Sales event going on right now. Discover the D.R. Horton difference. Visit drhorton.com. D.R. Horton, America's builder and equal housing opportunity builder.
Hartley here from Wilcox Family Farms. I'm so excited to have my cousin Amelia with me today. So I saw that you visited the baby chicks.
I got to hold 7 of them. They were so cute.
Do you know why Wilcox chickens are so happy?
Because they get to play outside?
Yes.
Happy chickens are healthy chickens.
From our farm to your table, Wilcox Family Farms eggs, locally fresh
since 1909.
At Madrona Financial and CPAs, we believe there are 7 steps that must be taken in preparation for a successful retirement. Retirement needs more than just a basic income plan. Hi, Jeff here with Madrona Financial and CPAs. Don't settle for a partial plan. Get the real deal by requesting your no-cost Madrona analysis today and discover what you may be missing. Call 833-673-7373 right now to request your analysis. That's 833-673-7373.
Best Mortgage, the VA loan and reverse mortgage experts, are proud to partner with KIRO Radio for over 20 years. Get a no-pressure consultation from a real person, never an AI bot. Web search Best Mortgage for honest advice you can trust.
Start having fun. Caesar Sportsbook at Muckleshoot Casino Resort is your #1 place to eat, drink, watch, and have fun. Keep up with your favorite sports anywhere and everywhere on property with the mobile app. Visit muckleshootcasino.com today. Scan the QR code and let the play begin.
Muckleshoot. KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good morning, I'm Heather Bosch.
Our community deserves answers. Our community deserves accountability.
Portland Mayor Keith Wilson, after Customs and Border Control agents say they shot at a car with alleged gang members inside that was trying to run them over. More from KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey.
A stern warning from Oregon Governor Tina Kotek after Homeland Security says Customs and Border agents shot 2 suspected Venezuelan gang members in Portland.
We demand transparency. We demand your cooperation with Portland Police and the Multnomah County DA.
Hundreds flocked to the ICE facility Thursday night in protests of the shooting. Portland police arrested 6 people. In Portland, Luke Ducey, KIRO News Radio.
Get ICE off our street! Protests in Seattle after a Minneapolis mother was fatally shot by an ICE agent in her own neighborhood. Homeland Security says the woman was trying to run him over. Demonstrators tell KIRO 7 TV they disagree.
You can see the video. You know, we've seen it from every different angle, sped up, slowed down, and it's all the same conclusion. You know, she was murdered.
The FBI is leading the investigation. On the same day as the ICE shooting in Minneapolis, witnesses reported seeing ICE detain 3 people across the street from the Home Depot in Seattle. Seattle police confirmed federal agents were in the area, but they cannot interfere with immigration operations. But they did not assist in immigration enforcement. Local leaders say that's a misuse of local resources, and for public safety, they need immigrants to trust local cops. The man accused of fatally shooting the CEO of United Healthcare is in federal court as lawyers try to take the death penalty off the table. Trial lawyer Richard Schoenstein explains.
Killing somebody in the federal system is not enough to get the death penalty. Even intentional murder is not enough. You need another hook.
Prosecutors are also accusing Luigi Mangione of stalking. Washington State's insurance commissioner is fining Kaiser Permanente $300,000. Patty Kuderer says the Kaiser Foundation Health Plan of Washington violated federal law when it comes to covering mental health and addiction. The government says employers added 50,000 jobs in December. Bankrate senior analyst Mark Hamrick.
This really does not change the narrative for the job market, which has been relatively lackluster. On the one hand, we have relatively resilient economic growth in the United States, but workers could look at this and say, how does that help me? The unemployment rate in the mid 4% range of late and the number of jobs added, the weakest in 5 years.
On Wall Street, the Dow was up 214 points, NASDAQ ahead 182. KIRO News Radio traffic heads up north of Snoqualmie. Maintenance is underway on both directions of State Route 202 near 376th Avenue Southeast. Traffic's alternating until 2 this afternoon. You are gridlocked right now, right in that area. Traction tires are advised on Snoqualmie Pass, Stevens Pass, and White Passes. Blewett Pass is bare and dry, no restrictions there. Traffic brought to you by KIRO News Radio. KIRO News Radio weather, cloudy skies today with highs in the upper 40s. It's 47 in downtown Seattle. I'm Heather Bosch.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
Welcome back to the Gee and Ursula Show. Text us at 888-973-5476, 888-973 KIRO. We had a listener, David, who was saying, for those of us who don't know, would it be too much trouble to explain why the sheriff won't comment on this dispute with the other sheriff? And I think bottom line, he just wants to keep it. It's already out there on social media, and I think he just wants to keep it there.
I love this answer.
Yeah, exactly. So, and I exactly. I think that I was very impressed with Sheriff Sanders. In any case, let's talk about friendship, because are you committing a faux pas by being that person who vents too much to your friends? Like, is everything a drama, or do you like spill all to your friends? And there's a piece in the Atlantic that says there is a growing number of advice columns, TikTok therapists, even etiquette experts, and they're warning people not to overvent, accusing some friends of being emotionally draining or toxic or guilty of what is now being called trauma dumping. Do you have any friends who fall into that category? Okay, you're looking at me, and I know you're contemplating, do I?
Hey, Ursula. you know, we've been doing this a long time.
I was like, I could see the wheels spinning right now.
No.
Okay.
No.
But therapists say, yeah, sure. The therapists say they're hearing this anxiety constantly. People worry that they're too much, while others feel burned out playing the role of the therapist's friend. And research shows that venting doesn't actually reduce anger and can sometimes actually fuel it, but it does help people feel supported and connected if the listener responds with empathy. I have to say this.
What do you got?
I take it as a compliment that people in my circle turn to me to vent, that they feel comfortable enough to tell me what is going on in their lives, even people who I may not think are that close necessarily, who feel very comfortable to share. And again, like I said, I take it as an honor, and that they feel comfortable enough to share that. And I try to do the best that I can to offer some advice. And I actually get satisfaction from that.
Yeah. And I think, well, first, I do see you do a good job when it comes to that kind of stuff, and some are better than others. I look at friends and people the same way I look at a cell phone and a charger.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Is someone draining you or is someone filling you up?
That's really what it comes down to. And I'm not saying that I'm not perfect. There's been times in my life that I needed a charger. Right. And but at the same time, sometimes you find yourself being the person, you're the charger. Right. But then when it comes time for your life, you can't charge yourself up. You're charging everybody else up, but you can't charge yourself up. And you're last to give yourself any type of acknowledgement and things like that. And look, we all have our hard times. But right now, like, for an example, I got some friends. It's not that they're negative or anything like that. I'll tell you what's on my mind that's bothering me lately. If you're dang near 50 years old and every day you send me a damn meme or you send me something like that, like, grow up. I got a couple partners that I got to have a conversation with. Quit sending me that crap. I got one that sometimes be sending me some, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, bruh, we about to be 50. What are we doing? Quit sending me dumb stuff.
Something magical happens at 50? Because I hate to tell it, you might be turning 60 and they'll still send you that.
I think midlife crisis is a real thing. And you can call it crisis, or you can call it a shift.
So you're feeling like, okay, wait a minute, they're sending me these things and I've kind of outgrown that.
Let me ask you this. Do you have a friend that all they do is send you memes?
No.
There's somebody listening right now. You probably have that one friend, and that's all they do is send you. Matter of fact, when we go into break, I'm going to show you the one friend. He literally sends me memes all day, every day, like 5, 6 a day.
Okay, but I'm going to ask you this. Have you ever stopped to ask that friend, hey, how you doing? I say that because sometimes people mask how they're really feeling.
By sending memes?
or just trying to make it look like everything's all good, everything's fine, and hey, what's up? Like trying to get beyond the memes.
Well,
I know. I can see your wheels are spinning.
I'm trying to
again.
hold back, but you know how to get to me, and you make me want to tell stuff. You ask me how I'm doing.
Yes.
Well, obviously you're single. If you send some a big booty Judy.
And those kind of memes.
You can't do that. No, not that as all the time.
Yeah.
But like, you know what I'm saying? Like, here's the thing: if your one friend does not send you memes back, that's a hint.
Yeah, I gotta ask if there's a difference between men and women in this regard, because I refer to it as like emotional foreplay. If you ask me out the gate, how am I doing? The answer is good. If we're hanging out and we spend, an hour or two together, like I'll get to that question half an hour, hour in, like after we settle things.
Yes,
but like I can't jump into that.
Yeah.
And I feel like this topic is almost gendered because I almost never have a guy friend dump on me. Right? You got to tease it out of guys to actually get them to be honest about what's going on in their life. Or a lot of times we just kind of stay surface level. And I don't know if that's just me and my friends, but that's my supposition.
So with these, and Ursula, with these memes, I know you guys are wondering, well, what do you do? This is all I do.
Do you laugh? Do you respond?
Ha ha ha. LOL. Ha ha ha. Heart. Ha ha ha.
Okay. Have you ever thought to just say, "Hey, dude, can we?" Let's go get a drink.
We're gonna say, "Hey, man, you're too old to be sending memes all day." What do I do?
Hey,
you're encouraging the behavior.
Yes, you are encouraging the behavior. Say,
just
hey,
leave him on read.
Yes, exactly. Don't respond.
But then they say, "Oh, G thinks he's all that." You know what I mean?
Haven't you talked about not caring what other people think?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just going to share a little hint here because we're talking about this and friendships. And someone also said it's really important that sometimes you just listen. And that is true. Sometimes you just need to be the listener and you need to be a good listener and help them kind of work through some of these things. And maybe they don't want the advice.
Right.
That all said, coming up here in 2026, I will be starting something new.
Okay.
And it is going to be an advice column. I was asked if we could do that for My Northwest, and it's going to be something that we start off for a Gee and Ursula show. It's going to be something beyond scenarios. It's going to be something fun that we do online and also eventually on the show.
Why didn't they ask G or me? I'm confused.
Oh, great.
Like I said.
I think I messed up.
Uh-oh, what happened?
425 just text us and said, LOL, my 5-year-old daughter is cracking up from Big Booty Judy. Thanks, G. Chloe from Granite Falls.
Oh, no, and now you got people sending you memes. There you go.
Gee, my son loved hearing the meatball story over the break.
You did put that up. I got hit up about that, too.
That is so funny. We've got
scenarios. Next, Gee Ursula.
Seattle voters wanted change.
I campaigned on affordability, on homelessness, on taxing the rich.
Can Mayor Wilson live up to the promises of candidate Wilson?
The self-proclaimed progressive socialist
managing high expectations. Trusted Northwest News voices you depend on.
More government programs, which means more tax dollars.
KIRO News Radio on 97.3 FM. And the KIRO Newsradio App.
You still thinking job change in the new year?
Yeah, I need something that's in high demand and more stable in this economy.
IT?
Yeah, cybersecurity, maybe even AI.
That's what I did.
Really? How?
Went to My Computer Career. You don't need any prior experience, and you could start your new career in a matter of months. A lot of IT pros go to school there, too, to level up.
Sweet. Are classes online or on campus?
Both.
Wow, I'll check it out. Thanks.
Make this your year. Take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu, an Elite CompTIA certification partner. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
Pizza's here. Oh, great. I'd love some, but I'm worried about my stomach issues.
If you're worried about having diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools, it may not just be stomach issues. It could be a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Take the next step to becoming a Seahawks season ticket holder. Join the season ticket holder notification list to secure your spot in line. By signing up, you'll be the first to know when space becomes available on the official Blue Pride waitlist. Plus, receive team news, special ticket offers, and more. Visit Seahawks.com/season tickets to sign up today.
Guys, low energy, low drive, or strength not what it used to be? For many men, it's low testosterone. At Revive Men's Health Washington, start with a free T-check exam and consultation to get real answers. And this month only, qualified patients may receive 25% off testosterone replacement therapy. Call 206-529-1111 or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com. Terms apply. Must medically qualify.
This winter, drive with confidence in a Subaru from Subaru of Puyallup. From rainy commutes to icy roads, Subaru's legendary all-wheel drive and advanced safety are built for our winters. Subaru of Puyallup is known for something even better, a stress-free car buying experience. No pressure, no games. Just friendly Subaru experts helping you find the right vehicle at the right price. Start shopping now and see our stress-free pricing exclusively at SubaruofPuyallup.com. Subaru of Puyallup, your stress-free dealership, part of the Harnish Auto family.
Jane Dawson did something smart. She saved hundreds on auto insurance switching to Progressive. With the money she saved, she got herself a pricey bird feeder with an ultra-high-def camera. Should Jane have just bought a regular bird feeder? Yes. Is it hard for her to admire nature when the camera doubles as the bird's potty? Also, yes. But it's Jane's savings, and if she wants to spend her time watching the digestive habits of the white-breasted nuthatch, we say you go, girl. Switch and see if you could save with Progressive and treat yourself. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime.
Our entry-level data plans start at just $20 a month. And for a limited time, switch and get your second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you and get your second month free today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional details.
Hey, this is Pete from Home Matters, a show that covers everything having to do with your home. Tune in every Saturday from 2 to 3 on KIRO Newsradio, where you'll hear from local business owners who are experts in their industries. From foundation to flooring, roofing and windows, furniture, and financial planning, it's everything in and around your home, and we've got you covered on Home Matters. If it matters to you, it matters to us here at Home Matters. Saturdays from 2 to 3 right here on KIRO Newsradio, or listen to the podcast on mynorthwest.com.
D.R. Horton's National Red Tag Sales Event is going on right now through January 25th. Stop by any of its participating communities and find select Red Tag homes at incredible pricing. Visit drhorton.com. D.R. Horton, America's builder and equal housing opportunity builder.
Frozen pipes, cold house, electrical issues. Get it all handled with one call to Home Comfort Alliance. Over 40 years doing heating, plumbing, and electrical right. HomeComfortAlliance.com.
Nearly half the homes in Western Washington are not properly insulated or not insulated at all. Sound like your home? Then call for your free inspection.
InsulationNorthwest.com.
All right, let's get the scenario. What's happening?
Here we go, yo. So what's the scenario?
Didn't think we were breaking up. I honestly thought we were just stressed. You know how the holidays go, different schedules, family obligations, money pressure, emotions everywhere. I kept telling myself, this is just temporary. But then, routines did change and efforts changed with them. Suddenly, I was asking for time instead of being prioritized. I was explaining my feelings to someone who used to understand me without words. We were still together on paper, still texting, still showing up to events, but something felt off. Conversations got shorter, laughter felt forced, and I started feeling like a guest in a relationship I once helped build. That's when it hit me. I wasn't lonely because I was alone. I was lonely because I'm just with the wrong person. Because the right person doesn't make you feel like you're asking for too much for the wanting matter. The right person doesn't disappear emotionally when life gets inconvenient. And sometimes relationships don't end with a blow up. Sometimes they end quietly when you realize you're doing all the adjusting, all the waiting, and all the hoping while the other person already checked out. I want to ask you guys your opinion on this. 888-973-5476. Ursula, you up the bat first.
What's the opinion? The opinion is you've already laid it out. It's alienation of affection. It sounds like there is some serious problem in your relationship. Trust your gut. There could be another person in the picture. Is it something that you've brought up in communication? I mean, it's sometimes people outgrow each other. You have to do work. Relationships are work. If you haven't been doing work, maybe you are just not that into each other anymore. Like,
wait. I'm not laughing at you. Lynn and Ballard just sent the text in, and I was not ready. Oh, I apologize.
What'd she say?
She sent a meme.
Oh, no. See, I'm fully listening to you, G. Reacting.
Here.
Oh.
It looked like she got some balloons up under there.
Basically, she sent Big Booty Judy.
Okay. Hey, Ursula, I think you and I are starting to switch roles here on the Gee and Ursula Show.
Oh, okay.
It's work. Like,
I said that. Yes, it is work.
Meaning, like, sometimes you might, like she says, hey, the holidays, it felt like this person was stressed and this and that. So you might have a bad 2 weeks or bad 2 months, or not even bad, just not great 2 to 3 months. Live through it. You can make it on the other side.
But yes, but you can't make any progress if you don't communicate. And that's the part that I don't understand why people have such a hard time with it. Why don't you communicate that in our relationship, I'm feeling very lonely. This is how I am feeling. I would like to work on this. If the response from your partner is, I don't notice it or I don't care, then you know that any amount of work is not going to fix the relationship you have. And the question I have is, why stay in something when you're miserable?
Well, communicating about your needs also requires vulnerability.
Yes.
Right? It requires you to actually ask for something. It requires you to admit that your feelings have been hurt or something is lacking. Often, if you don't feel good about yourself, you don't feel like you have the self-esteem to be able to ask for anything more. And I think that is why people will stay in relationship. They would prefer to stay in a bad relationship than be single, is because if I feel terrible about myself, well, at least I'm not alone, right? And that can be a terribly lonely place to be, but it can also be terrifying to be to look at that singlehood. Maybe you got to move out with the person, who knows? But I mean, it's hard when you're not in a good place yourself.
That's true. And there's also the possibility that this person is financially dependent on that other person and is having to put up with things that don't work. But again, first step is always honesty, communication, and putting in the work. But you have to have two people willing to put in the work.
I think also, before we get to Nick, I used to hear how couples that have been in a relationship, and Ursula, you got some experience. I used to hear how couples be like, hey, I already know. We're not getting a divorce. We're not going to split up. We're going to be sticking through this through thick and thin, right? Like, people have that mentality. And I didn't really understand it at first. I do now. Like, I'm telling y'all right now, look here. I don't want to get to know nobody after this. You know what I'm saying? So I'm sticking through mine. You know, that's just like the way you got to kind of look at it, because even if you go and you think the grass is greener on the other side and you meet somebody else, guess what? There's going to be some type of problem.
Yes.
And you're going to be faced with that again. Now what?
The honeymoon phase does not last forever, and you have to put work into having a healthy relationship. Curtis in Auburn texted in and said, I'm guilty of putting too much into my relationships. If this scenario sender didn't have a conversation with their partner and give them an opportunity to fix it, then they have not done enough on their end. And I 1,000% agree with that.
Doug says, in Mount Vernon says, try exchanging memes. Nick, what do you got,
I'll go the other way in the sake of trying to find happiness for the other side. Because, sometimes in life you can fall in and out of love in a relationship. Most of the time, too, it's usually on one side. It's not mutual. So there's going to be some hurt received from at least one party. But no, you're not alone. This happens to a lot of people. If you do want to bring up the issue, go ahead and tell them you feel isolated, though you'll probably have to admit this just wasn't the one, even though you had the good intentions.
I've been in the right place, but it must have been the wrong time.
And like G said, the grass could be greener finding someone who truly appreciates you, but you know what? Whoever's next, though, go easy on those memes because it just gets annoying after a while, okay?
I want to hear from the people that's been in relationships 30, 40 years.
That's me.
I bet you there's been... Nah, you don't count, Ursula. You know why you don't count?
Why is that?
You and Long Live Mark, y'all straight. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about there's some people that's been together 30, 40 years, and they can probably tell you.
Yeah, my parents.
In year 19, like, oh, man, it was rough.
I don't think
we
anyone
almost didn't make it.
I don't think anyone who's been in a relationship for 40 years can say that there wasn't at least 1 year where things were rough.
And including me. I mean, there were times when, never between Mark and myself, but just dealing with work stresses, for example, or, I'm trying to be respectful.
Right.
Relatives.
Children, families.
Yes, exactly.
Children, families, all that stuff.
Yes.
Oh, Larry in the 206 says 46 years, G. Woo! That's what I'm talking about. All right, everybody. We got the 11 o'clock hour coming up. It's sure going to be a lot of fun. We'll do that next. Gee Ursula.
This is your city.
Seattle voters have spoken, and they wanted change.
Wilson really resonated, especially with some younger voters.
On the terms of working people, make it work for them.
Katie Wilson is just actually not afraid to say she's a socialist.
What challenges does the political newcomer face once taking office?
Never having any managerial experience.
Stay with KIRO Newsradio and MyNorthwest.com for the latest.
Change takes time, and we don't give it time.
And the KIRO Newsradio app. KIRO FM and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle.
Eggland's Best. The only eggs with more fresh and delicious taste, plus superior nutrition. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
Gee and Ursula agree to disagree.
This is happening until we do a better job at addressing affordable housing.
We're spending more money on homelessness, and yet it does keep getting worse.
Weekday mornings at 11:06 on KIRO News Radio.
Let's ring in the new year by finally checking off something that actually matters. Your old videotapes and photos are fading more every year. VCRs are disappearing, and the clock is ticking to save your family's most important memories. Hi, I'm Adam Baselogger.
And I'm Nick Mako. We started Legacy Box to help you preserve your memories by converting all your videotapes, photos, and film reels into digital files. And this year, it's easier than ever.
Introducing our biggest kit yet, able to hold up to 80 videotapes or film reels or 2,000 photos. It's perfect for big collections. You can even send in old DVDs, memory cards, flip phones, or early generation iPhones.
Legacy Box is truly the easiest New Year's resolution you'll ever keep. Just fill your box and send it in. As the world's largest digitizer of home movies and photos, all work is done in the U.S., and we're trusted by over 1 million families.
Start the new year right by rescuing the moments you haven't watched in years. Go to legacybox.com/radio for an incredible 55% off. That's legacybox.com/radio for 55% off.
Now is your time to get into a new D.R. Horton home by taking advantage of its National Red Tag Sales event going on right now through January 25th. Stop by any of its participating communities and find select Red Tag homes at incredible pricing. So whether you're buying your first home or looking for an upgrade, you don't want to miss the Red Tag Sales event going on right now. Discover the D.R. Horton difference. Visit drhorton.com. D.R. Horton, America's builder and equal housing opportunity builder.
Good afternoon, I'm Aaron Granillo.
Your best source for local news.
Newly released police video shows the arrest of a 17-year-old.
KIRO News Radio.
The new year brings new health goals and wealth goals. Protecting your identity is an important step. Your info is in endless places that could expose you to identity theft, leading to lost funds. LifeLock monitors millions of data points per second. If your identity is stolen, our restoration specialists will fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Resolve to make identity health and wealth part of your New Year's goals with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS. Visit lifelock.com. Terms apply.
With the new IHOP value menu, $6 is all it takes to go to your happy place, where stacks of pancakes with bacon and eggs are just $6 every day. French toast, sausage, and eggs are, you guessed it, $6. And fluffy omelets come with a side of pancakes and only cost $6. Go to your happy plates every day at IHOP. $7 in some locations. Available every day for a limited time at participating restaurants in the U.S. Hours may vary. No substitutions. Not valid with other discounts or promotions. Prices may vary.
What does VA mean to me?
A place for my daughter to call home, thanks to the VA home loan.
A new lease on life. The best healthcare team I've ever had is here at VA.
And education, and the opportunity to open doors I never thought possible with my GI Bill.
The financial support I need to manage the disabilities I developed because of my service.
Get what you earned. Visit choose.va.gov.
Not all veterans are eligible for the type or amount of benefits mentioned here.
Your best source for local news. KIRO News Radio. KIRO FM and HD1. Tacoma, Seattle. Northwest News.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Pfizer.
I'm Jennifer Kuiper. 2 days after the shooting death of a woman in Minneapolis by an ICE agent, Hennepin County prosecutor Mary Moriarty is calling on the public to share Renee Good's shooting evidence with her office.
We are concerned that the evidence obtained in an investigation that has only been conducted at the federal level will not be shared with our office for review.
Minneapolis authorities say the FBI has locked them out of the investigation. Standing in the snow with many holding signs that read "Neighbors say ICE out," dozens of Minneapolis parents, teachers, and school staff gathered to demand that federal immigration agents stay off school property. Amanda Otero with the group Take Action Minnesota.
This week, we have witnessed state violence escalating. It is not abstract. It is not theoretical. It is not something anyone can pretend to ignore. It is deadly, and it is everywhere on our streets.
The Minneapolis school system is offering families the option of remote learning for a month. In addition to the Minneapolis shooting, the FBI is also investigating yesterday's shooting of a man and a woman in Portland. The Department of Homeland Security says federal immigration officers shot and wounded the two people after the driver weaponized his vehicle. Feds cite ties to a Venezuelan gang. The U.S. captures another oil tanker with ties to Venezuela. CBS's Olivia Rinaldi with the latest.
This is the fifth tanker that has been seized by U.S. forces since they began this campaign. And officials tell us we should expect more of these tankers to be seized, especially as the U.S. is imposing more stringent restrictions on some of these tankers leaving Venezuela.
President Trump is meeting with oil executives at the White House today. He hopes to secure $100 billion in investments to revive Venezuela's oil industry. The mayor of Ukraine's capital says heating outages caused by Russian strikes could last into the weekend, and residents should leave the city if they can. CBS's Cammie McCormick.
Russia fired more than 240 drones and 30 missiles into Ukraine. British Defense Minister John Healey in Kiev blasted Russian President Putin.
It's brutal. It's cynical. He talks about peace, but he's stepping up and escalating his attacks, not just attacks on the Ukrainian military, but on civilians and cities like this.
Moscow says the strikes were in response to the attempted drone attack on one of Putin's homes last month, which Ukraine denies and U.S. intelligence says didn't happen.
Employers added 50,000 jobs in December, nearly unchanged, from a downwardly revised figure of 56,000 in November. That according to the Labor Department, which says the unemployment rate slipped to 4.4%. This is CBS News.
You still got it, but your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Sponsored by Pfizer.
A crash involving a school bus with kids on board. Details coming up, but first, KIRO News Radio traffic. Heads up north of Snoqualmie right now. Maintenance is underway on both directions of State Route 202 near 376th Avenue Southeast. Traffic is alternating until 2 this afternoon, and you are gridlocked right now right around that area. Traction tires are advised on Snoqualmie, Stevens, and White Passes. Blewett Pass is bare and dry, no restrictions there. Traffic brought to you by Northwest Hope and Healing. For cork, fork, and support, an afternoon of wine tasting and inspiration. Tickets at northwesthopeandhealing.org.
KIRO News Radio. Breaking news.
Good morning, I'm Heather Bosch. Pierce County deputies are on the scene of a crash involving a school bus in the Franklin Pierce School District. KIRO News Radio's James Lynch joins us live now. James?
Heather, that crash happened about half an hour ago, making it about 10:30 at the intersection of Waller Road East and 128th Street East. Deputies say there were 32 students on the bus, kindergarten through the 5th grade. 11 of those, we're told, have been transported to local hospitals. One injury may be serious. Now, the bus was heading for Collins Elementary. We are expecting to get an update from the scene shortly, and we will bring you the very latest as soon as we have it. Heather?
Thank you, James. Outrage from Seattle Mayor Katie Wilson.
I am furious at the federal government's abuse of power.
Wilson, after police confirmed 3 men were detained by ICE across the street from a Home Depot in Seattle this week. Local authorities have little power over federal operations. The action came on the same day an ICE agent fatally shot a mother in Minneapolis and a day before Border Patrol shot and wounded 2 people in Portland. A jury is now deliberating whether Seattle is responsible for the death of a teenager killed during the CHOP protests. The Seattle Times reports the case went to the jury yesterday after a month-long trial. 16-year-old Antonio Mays Jr. was shot at the Capitol Hill protest zone in 2020. A 911 call just obtained by KIRO 7 TV reveals tension in an East King County family prior to their murder-suicide. Mac Williams told the operator.
My mother is attacking me.
What is going on?
I'm holding her on the floor.
Do you say you're holding her on the floor?
Yes, she keeps attacking me.
That is not true. I need you to let go of your mother and leave the room.
Williams and his mother, Danielle Cavalier, were in a heated custody battle over Danielle's other son, Nick, a disabled adult. Weeks later, Danielle, Nick, and Mac's wife were found shot dead. Medical examiners say Mac died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Major construction and a big traffic headache this weekend. Tonight, all northbound lanes on I-5 will shut down from I-90 to Northeast 45th Street until 5 a.m. Monday. State Transportation Secretary Julie Meredith says make contingency plans.
That could mean finding alternative routes, leaving early or staying late, allowing more time to travel, taking transit when possible.
Crews will create safe work zones for a long-term 2-lane closure through 2026. University of Washington quarterback DeMond Williams Jr. is staying with the Huskies after all. The sophomore announcing yesterday he's coming back 2 days after saying he was entering the transfer portal and setting off a firestorm of criticism because he had already signed a deal with the Huskies. KIRO News Radio weather, cloudy skies today with highs in the upper 40s. It's 49 in downtown Seattle. I'm Heather Bosch.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with a KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
This is the Gee and Ursula Show with G. Scott and Ursula Reutin.
Come on now. It's Fresh Fridays here on the Gee and Ursula Show. It's also Flex Fridays, and it's also Happy New Year's. Good morning, Ursula.
When you turn 50, can you just drop that? How about this? You drop that, and I'll make your friend drop the memes.
But you know what I believe, Ursula?
What's that?
As I get ready to turn 50, I think the closer and when I get 50, I'm going to be less mature than I was at 45.
Oh, dear Lord.
Doesn't getting older just mean that you care less about what other people think?
Yeah.
Great. Okay.
Except for memes. What do you got, Ursula?
Well, coming up at 11:30, of course, we're going to be doing Agree to Disagree. It's going to be a Fresh Friday edition.
Okay.
And here's a question. Do you have to tell your partner about your past infidelity when you get into a new relationship? Text us, 888-973-5476, 888-973 KIRO.
Top stories at 11.
On the Gee and Ursula Show.
I shared with you guys that years ago I used to have a green card. I only became an American citizen in 1995. So
Every
this is a
election,
story.
tell us.
Yes, exactly. So this is a story that actually stood out to me because there are dozens of green card holders here in our state that are suddenly in limbo after their citizenship interviews were canceled, even though many of them come from countries that are not targeted by the Trump administration's expanded travel restrictions. So this is reporting out of the Seattle Times. Immigration advocates say more than 80 naturalization interviews and oath ceremonies were abruptly scrapped starting in early December, and the folks never got any sort of explanation or timeline for when they might happen again. So in many cases, these are your doctors. These are people who've been in the country for a while who are ready to become American citizens. They have no issues. They've gone through all the hoops, and essentially these cancellations are cutting across all nationalities, including people from Vietnam, Mexico, the Philippines, Samoa. And again, all of them have already passed background checks. And Customs and Immigration Services says it's taken a closer look at all these applicants, and that takes time. That's their excuse. And local advocates, though, say the result is that there's a lot of fear, there's a lot of confusion, and it's expensive for people who have waited years now to take this final step toward becoming a U.S. citizen.
Yeah.
And I feel for them.
You guys know how many people that have gotten round up this in 2025 that are trying to do things the right way? People going to their court cases, heading over there and having ICE waiting for them. How many people are trying to do it the right way? And even when you try, because it was sold as we are going after the criminals, in real story, you're going after what you just talked about, people in this country that way.
Well, and okay, it's one thing, again, and we, because we're living in such unusual times, to be suddenly told, hey, I have no idea, like you already had this booked, you already had this planned, you already were getting time off from work. You know, in the case of me, when I went through the citizenship ceremony, I had family members invited because it's a very proud moment. You plan to take time off of work. And then all of a sudden it's like, wait a minute. And we're seeing what's going on. And so, again, these folks who've done absolutely nothing wrong, who've gone through all the hoops to get to this point. And again, for me, it was so important because without a green card, I couldn't vote. And right. Yeah, I bring it up every time, but that is, for me, the most important thing, the ability to have a say in what goes on in this country that I love.
Ursula, back then when you just had a green card, was there ever, be honest, was there ever a day that you were afraid?
No. But we were living in very different times. I was also very young. But I mean, I didn't become a U.S. citizen until I was 26. So 25.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And yeah, we were living in different times. And, I'm also reminded, do you guys remember that there was a bipartisan agreement on everything that is happening when it comes to the border? And do you remember why they said, no, don't do it? Because someone was running for president? So a lot of times people, they pretend like they want to make things better. No, sometimes it's all about political gain, and it's unfortunate.
And I will tell you, because if you're listening right now and you're like, oh, yeah, this is all these things. Yeah. Remember there was someone who texted in and said, hey, go back to the Philippines if you don't like it. I was born in the Philippines. I actually had German citizenship, by the way. But in any case, the reason why something like this is also very important, a lot of these folks we're talking about who have the green cards, a lot of them are maybe the doctor that you see. For example, it could be your cardiologist. It could be, and you're seeing, if you talk to your medical provider right now and you're wondering, like, why is it taking so long to make an appointment with a specialist? Well, this is actually causing problems within the medical field and other fields, but I'm just saying to try to make it relatable, a lot of the green card holders are folks who are here in this country practicing medicine, for example.
Mm-hmm.
And it's actually having an impact. A lot of these changes are actually having an impact on your health care.
It's not just healthcare. I mean, at my daughter's daycare, I can think of at least 4 people who are there taking care of our kids who are green card holders, and they are some of the most wonderful, loving people that you could possibly meet. I can think of, my wife and my friend group. We have probably 3 green card holders in our friend group. Mm-hmm. People who work with kids with special needs, do important jobs in society. And I believe that the vast majority of conservative voters, when they say, I just want people to do it the right way, they mean that.
Yes.
And they actually would appreciate meaningful immigration reform.
Yes.
But what we're seeing from the administration is a complete abandonment of that process. You cannot say there's going to be a legal pathway for you, do it the right way, and then arrest people when they show up to a citizenship hearing. You cannot say we want people to do things the right way, and then the Department of Homeland Security just this week posted a meme on X. The meme was a picture of a white sandy beach with a big, beautiful blue ocean. And the text of it was, America, once 100 million immigrants are deported.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, the other thing, too, is I'm hearing from friends who are green card holders who are saying, I don't want to travel right now. I'm afraid of leaving the country for fear that I can't come back. And again, that shouldn't be the case. And so, if you're listening to this and saying, hey, you're making a big deal out of this. No, I mean, there's a lot of fear right now.
Can we go back to November of 2024? And we go back from the time that President Trump won the election and the time that we made it to the inauguration. And we spent a lot of time, Ursula, you and I, probably too much time, but we spent a lot of time talking about how things were going to be. We spent a lot of time saying, this could happen, this is going to happen, this whole idea of Doge and all. We talked about it. And a lot of times we got you're fear-mongering.
Yeah.
When we talk about a lot of the stuff that is going on, I don't think I am as upset because it's like you have seen a movie before and then you're playing the movie again and you kind of know what happens. Like everything that is happening right now are things that were campaigned on. They talked about mass deportation. They talked about, investing into ICE, right? The big, beautiful bill and all that kind of stuff. They talked about the National Guard coming into cities and, helping with crime. A lot of these things that you said that we're living in different times right now, we all knew this was coming, didn't we? Did we not?
Well, I mean, did we all want this to come? And I think for a lot of folks, I'm going to guess that they were saying, I'll believe it when I see it. Like how much of this is hyperbole and how much of this is actuality. And, I know that you're talking about Project 2025 as well. And a lot of folks didn't even know what that even meant. But again, I think a lot of times people will only react or people will only understand when it affects you. And I that's why I'm bringing up, you might not care about green card holders. If you're not a green card holder, this doesn't affect you. But I'm trying to point out that it actually does affect you.
What bothers me, though, is because people have changed their tune, right? Their political identity matters more to them than their stated values. When you have people who go from America first and I want to focus on the needs of the United States to cheering for the U.S. running Venezuela, that is that person saying, my identity matters more than my values. And that's a problem. Because your values should come first.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to move on to another topic that did you hear that the prior governor is not happy with the current governor when it comes to the Climate Commitment Act? So according to the Seattle Times, Governor Ferguson wants to move nearly $560 million out of the state's Climate Commitment Act fund to help cover working families' tax credits. Because, as we've been reporting, the state is dealing with a more than $2 billion budget shortfall.
Okay.
So the climate account has taken in about $4.3 billion since 2023, and it is one of the few state funds that's actually in the black.
Like that.
Yeah. So Ferguson says law actually allows this. State law allows it. And without it, lawmakers would be forced to make deep cuts elsewhere. And he's also said he's not looking for new tax increases.
Right.
But former Governor Jay Inslee and some of the architects of the climate law say this is going to cross a line, and they say that voters back this policy to cut emissions and prepare for climate disasters and not to plug budget holes. And so Governor Inslee is calling this a breach of trust. Republicans are saying this is an opportunity. State GOP Chair Jim Walsh wants to tap the same climate funds for schools, saying that climate policies have driven up utility costs. My feeling is Governor Inslee has some guts to say, hey, this is not what the voters wanted, because he also did not tell us that it was going to cost us so much in the form of gas taxes. And then while I was gone on Wednesday, didn't we have a story about the how the Climate Commitment Act is not doing what it said it was going to do?
9,000%.
9,000% less carbon reduction than they stated.
Yeah. So again, we're talking about, I'm in favor of, hey, you've got the money now. If you're not going to refund taxpayers, which I would love to see a break on the gas taxes in general, but if you're not going to do that, then why don't you help working families' tax credits and help more families?
Yeah. Hey, do y'all got somebody in your family that's a know-it-all? Is there anybody that you know, or maybe it's you, someone that every single time they just can't admit, like, you know what?
We were wrong on this.
I was wrong on this.
Yes.
Right? That's what Governor Jay Inslee is reminding me of right now.
Yeah.
I mean, at some point, you can just say, first of all, you could just say nothing.
Yeah.
That's number one. But number two, I'm actually agreeing with Governor Bob Ferguson. Hey, let's pull some of this money out, right?
So you don't have to tax us anymore.
Yes. It's okay. See, I feel like a lot of our government sometimes, they are just so stuck. It's like the blinders that get on horses. They only see one way. They can't be like, oh, we'll pivot here. Oh, it's an audible here. Maybe that play isn't working. That play might have worked in 2023. That play might not work in 2025 and 26. It is okay to not always be so damn right all the time.
Yeah, that's true.
Just make my skin crawl.
Yeah, that's true. Hey, Kara, the cleaning lady, just texted in and said, hey, can we have some more dessert for Fresh Friday? So I'm going to switch gears, okay? Because I think you made a great point on that. And let's move on. Did you have a varsity letter? I actually did, too.
Of course you did.
Of course you did. How many varsity letters did you have?
About 16.
Yeah. A lot.
Because, okay, what did the varsity letter symbolize for you? That you're a big man on campus?
It was, the first one I got was my freshman year, and I was excited, and I got to get that Letterman's jacket.
Okay, but it used to always be sports, right?
Sports.
I mean, it was sports,
Yeah.
And then theater, music, robotics. I mean, it kind of opened up. But now, skilled trades is being awarded a varsity letter. This is happening at Snohomish High School. This is a story from King 5 News. It's the first school in Washington to award a varsity letter for trade skills. And the timing couldn't be better. The U.S. is projected to need about 2 million more skilled trade workers over the next several years, and the labor shortage is costing businesses here in Washington so much money. And this is from Matt Johnson, the Snohomish High School manufacturing instructor, speaking to King 5.
There is a massive vacuum for anybody that's going into the skilled trades. This student should automatically have a leg up when it comes to their work ethic, when it comes to their drive, when it comes to their ability to complete something and complete it on time.
So what do you think about that? Giving a varsity letter for skilled trades.
Absolutely love it.
I think us as adults would love it. I'm curious how other students view this.
Well, if the other students care about money, then you would care that if little Billy has a letter in some type of trade, Billy about to be making money at 18. Meanwhile, you hanging out with G talking about, oh, I'm going to the NBA, and he ain't going nowhere.
The letter shouldn't be about who's cool or not. The letter should be about, like, if you were a 4-year letterman in a sport, that's something you put on your college resume. But if you're coming out of high school into the trades and you're applying for jobs and they say, tell me about your relevant experience. Well, I'm a 3-year letterman in welding, and a 2-year letterman in, varsity letter in fabrication.
Yeah, I love it. And
It's
actually,
great.
King 5 spoke with a student, a senior, Elizabeth, who did letter, and she's going to get a job at Boeing.
There we go. All right. Ursula, coming up next, we do good old fashioned. By the way, Kara, the cleaning lady, we're about to do agree to disagree. Stick around. Gee and Ursula.
After voters made it clear they want change,
That I will faithfully conduct myself as the mayor of the city of Seattle.
what should Seattle residents expect from Mayor Katie Wilson?
She talked a lot about our affordability crisis.
Northwest News voices you depend on.
It's a misdiagnosis of the problem. You believe government can solve this problem.
KIRO News Radio on 97.3 FM. The KIRO News Radio app with opinion and analysis at mynorthwest.com.
Have you been putting off retirement conversations because you're worried it's going to turn into a sales pitch? You're not alone. At Trajan Wealth, the focus starts with listening, and their advisors are fiduciaries. They're obligated to put your needs first, and that changes the tone right away. They're going to ask you about your life, your priorities, and how you want to balance planning for the future while still enjoying today, which is a big thing. No pressure, no promises, just perspective. That is what I got when I met with Marty at Trajan Wealth. It's all about understanding where you are and having a clearer sense of what your options look like for now and for the future. Trajan Wealth is veteran-owned. They work with families who want thoughtful guidance that fits real life. Trajan, spelled Trajan. Call them today for a free consultation at 206-656-3300. That's 206-656-3300 or visit TrajanWealth.com.
Advisory services through Trajan Wealth, LLC. SEC registered investment advisor. Client paid advertisement. Additional disclosures at TrajanWealth.com.
For seniors, the new year is a good time to reassess finances. If you're struggling with bills, our friend Steve Teitler of Best Mortgage says a reverse mortgage may be a great way to ease your stress.
Seniors tell me all the time, we love our home, we'd love to stay here, but we just can't afford it anymore. A reverse mortgage lets you tap your home equity for tax-free cash to pay off your mortgage, pay off your debts, and maybe put some extra money in the bank. You've worked hard for that home equity. Now let your home work for you. And best of all, you'll have no mortgage payments the rest of your life.
And you always talk to a real person, not an AI robot.
That's right. You'll get a no-pressure consultation directly from me. Never a sales pitch and never an AI bot.
Honest advice you can trust from Best Mortgage, the reverse mortgage experts, the VA loan and debt consolidation experts too. 425-649-6000. Best Mortgage, 425-649-6000.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. Ask yourself this question. Is it really worth holding on to that timeshare that you know you need to get rid of? Here's the truth. The average maintenance fee just went up over 17%. That could have been 117%, and there's nothing you can do about it. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check for annual maintenance and assessment fees. I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. For 15 years, I've helped over 50,000 families cancel their timeshare. Not sell it, not transfer it, cancel it. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment and your maintenance fees would never go up? That's a lie. Are you ready to get rid of your timeshare once and for all? Simply call us and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit that explains all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your timeshare exit kit. 800-932-5858. That's 800-932-5858. 800-932-5858.
I got to tell you something, Nick. I have really noticed a difference in your energy level since you started going to the Longevity Medical Clinic.
And you know why?
Why?
Because they actually balanced my hormone levels. And when they do that, the largest change I noticed was that now I could sleep.
And then not only get more sleep, to just get more energy, right?
Right. So that all of a sudden that resulted in me, I started running again and doing all these things that I felt so fatigued throughout the day that I couldn't do anymore.
Okay, so at this point, do you want to apologize to me? Because I was always saying to you, every time you say, I don't sleep, I don't feel well, I feel kind of off, I go, well, you need to get in touch with Longevity Medical Clinic. And you're always like, blah, 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 blah.
I know. But now it's turned into something fun that we get to go in together.
So I need to hear, you were right.
You were right.
You were right. I should have gone to Longevity Medical Clinic.
I should have.
There we go. Fine.
Yes.
You know the right thing to do. Get in touch with Longevity Medical Clinic. Take the free health analysis at lmclinic.com.
Now is your time to get into a new D.R. Horton home by taking advantage of its National Red Tag Sales event going on right now through January 25th. Stop by any of its participating communities and find select Red Tag homes at incredible pricing. So whether you're buying your first home or looking for an upgrade, you don't want to miss the Red Tag Sales event going on right now. Discover the D.R. Horton difference. Visit drhorton.com. D.R. Horton, America's builder and equal housing opportunity builder.
What does VA mean to me?
A place for my daughter to call home. Thanks to the VA Home Loan.
A new lease on life. The best healthcare team I've ever had is here at VA.
And education, and the opportunity to open doors I never thought possible with my GI Bill.
The financial support I need to manage the disabilities I developed because of my service.
Get what you earn. Visit choose.va.gov.
Not all veterans are eligible for the type or amount of benefits mentioned here. Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it today at carsforkids.org. Your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call 1-877-CARS4KIDS to donate your car today. That's Cars with a K.
KIRO News Radio, continuing coverage.
Good morning, I'm Heather Bosch. A crash between a sedan and a school bus with students on board has sent 11 kids to a hospital. It happened near Parkland. KIRO News Radio's James Lynch is live with the latest. James.
Heather, I just got off the phone with Pierce County Deputy Carly Capetto. She is on the scene of that accident right now. It's at the intersection of Waller Road East and 128th Street East. We don't yet know exactly what happened, but Deputy Capetto says the bus had the right-of-way and crashed into a sedan in spite of very heavy braking by the bus driver. Here's Deputy Capetto with the extent of the injuries.
When that bus braked hard to avoid hitting that sedan, all those kids flew forward. And so many of them complained of injuries from neck and head injuries.
Now that bus is from Collins Elementary and the kids range from kindergarten to 5th grade. The driver of the sedan was also transported, but the extent of his injuries are unknown. Heather?
Thank you, James. A 911 call in Portland.
Caller saying that he was shot twice by ICE and his wife was shot as well.
Customs and Border Patrol, not ICE, says agents did open fire on a car that tried to run them over. KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey with more on who was in that car.
The Department of Homeland Security says Luis Moncado and Yorlenes Zambrano Contreras both entered the U.S. illegally in 2022 and 2023, respectively. They describe them as criminal illegal aliens. That he is a member of the Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua, and she was his prostitute.
Their conditions are unknown. The Department of Homeland Security maintains an ICE agent fatally shot a 37-year-old mother in Minneapolis because she was trying to run him over. KIRO 7 TV's Samantha Lomibao says protesters in Seattle disagree.
Heartbreak, frustration, and anger filled Thursday's crowd. Federal officials calling the shooting self-defense, but many people here disagreed.
You can see the video, and it's all the same conclusion. She was murdered.
Candles lit, flowers laid, and voices raised.
She was murdered!
The crowd marched together, calling for government reform.
The Minneapolis shooting happened Wednesday. On the same day, ICE agents detained 3 men across from a Home Depot in North Seattle. No word on their identities. The government says employers added 50,000 jobs to payrolls in December. CBS's Jill Schlesinger.
It is a job market that shows a lot of cooling since the summer of 2025, but it is not falling apart.
On Wall Street, the Dow is up 262 points. NASDAQ ahead 219. KIRO Newsradio traffic. Here's Nate Connors.
Thanks, Heather. It's looking really great out there. No big backups at all to speak of, with one exception down in Auburn. It's southbound 167 at State Route 18. A rollover semi is fully blocking the off-ramp to eastbound 18. No estimated time for this to reopen. As you can imagine, it's going to take a little while. You got to get the Class C tow in there and such. So it'll be a little while before this reopens. In Montlake, roadwork has the Montlake Boulevard off-ramp closed from eastbound 520 until 3 this afternoon. So that means if you hop on eastbound 520 from Seattle, you'll have to cross the bridge and pay that toll. And our passes are doing good. Stevens, Snoqualmie, and White do have traction tires advised. Oversized vehicles prohibited. Blewett Pass looking great with no restrictions. KIRO News Radio real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
KIRO News Radio weather. Cloudy skies today with highs in the upper 40s. It's 49 in downtown Seattle. I'm Heather Bosch.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
It is 11:34. It is a fresh Friday, and it's time for us to do Agree to Disagree, brought to you by Guardian Roofing and Gutters.
One of these days, we just got to take off the gloves. Just really go at it.
Do I have to tell my new boyfriend about my past infidelity? That's from the New York Times ethicist column today. This person writes, 20 years ago, I had an affair that ended my marriage. I feel immense shame and regret about my behavior back then, and I'm now dating someone whom I have not told about the affair. I can feel the weight of withholding this information, but I also don't want to admit it or discuss the terrible thing I did so long ago. Do I need to tell him, Ursula?
Okay, I would tell him. So I can only speak as to what I would do. Mm-hmm. And the reason, he said 20 years ago.
Yeah, that's pretty long.
It was a long time ago. You probably learned some very painful mistakes about it. The way she wrote it, and she said, I was ashamed of what I did. And this is someone, it's weighing heavily. I think just in how she has presented it here in this column, I would say you should. Because I think that putting it out there on the table, being honest, I am a believer in that there is a way to lie through omission. And especially if it comes up in conversation further down in the relationship, have you ever cheated before? For you to say no or not bring up something that happened 20 years ago that brought up your marriage, if it broke up your marriage, if that happened 20 years ago and it actually had a major result that actually had an impact, I would absolutely talk about it. And as the partner, if I was in a relationship with someone, I would expect them to tell me too.
Sure, I guess you should, right? Yeah, you should. No, I'm serious.
Would you though?
Yeah, I would tell, but some people won't. Some people are not going to tell about how they cheated on the science test back when they were in 7th grade.
Cheating on a science test in 7th grade, and then cheating in your infidelity actually broke up your marriage. Those are two different things.
Yeah. Well, you meet somebody, and let's say they have an ex-husband or ex-wife. They always tell their side to the story. They always, nobody comes and say, you know what? I messed up. I'm the reason why this happened. Usually, when they show up, when Laura shows up to happy hour, she's telling about all the things and all the bad things about the ex.
True.
So
okay. But here's the thing. Wouldn't you find it refreshing and more trustworthy if this new person that you're dating, and I wouldn't bring it up. It also is the timing of it would be the timing would be also important, because if you're just casually dating and you're not in a committed relationship, you don't need to bring it up.
Does it matter?
If you're in
the past matters?
I think the past matters.
No, it doesn't.
I think in this case it does, especially if it was more recent, because we have this saying, cheaters never change, right? Which I think that's bogus. I think that's totally bogus.
That you can change, and I think it would be much easier for me to believe someone that they changed if they said, you know what, I did it, I'm the reason our marriage broke up. I've learned this from it, and I wouldn't do it again.
So what if if it was 6 months ago, that's one thing. But what if it was 10 years ago?
Well,
does it matter?
In this case, it's 20 years
It's
ago.
20. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
But it's part of your history.
I'm not even who I was 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Don't count. 20 years ago, Ursula? I mean, for real.
I just said again. I would expect
committed
someone to
some
tell me.
crimes or something like that, okay. But if I did a little something
Like
20 years
your
ago.
marriage broke up 20 years ago because you cheated and had a whole affair.
Yeah, like 20. It doesn't matter.
I mean, you're asking someone who, like, when Mark and I first started dating, I mean, I asked him, and you know what was great?
Shocker that you asked him a
Yeah,
lot.
I asked a lot of questions, and he laid it all out there. And you know what? Curiosity was satisfied. When it didn't happen in the relationship prior to my one with Mark, that's when it was a problem.
Well, don't we look at like infidelity in a much different way than other sins in relationships? Because from my perspective, I'll just say vaguely about personal circumstances. There have been relationships that broke up in my family. And I remember growing up and thinking, oh, the person who cheated, they're the one who is solely at fault for the divorce. They are the reason. Like, as though there could be nothing that could possibly lead up to the cheating. There's any other factors that could contribute. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think we just view it as like this sin that can't be forgiven, even when there can be
be
a lot of
forgiven.
circumstances.
Oh, absolutely. Susie in Hilltop says, what would it accomplish? Well, for one thing, as Tom points out, she should tell him because the weight is on her shoulders and she feels uncomfortable with it. That's what she said. So, yeah. Clean conscience. I know. I can see the wheels are spinning again.
All right, let's move on down to Tacoma, where the News Tribune. I've noticed recently they started posting people's jackpot wins at casinos. I don't know if they're struggling for content.
Yes, they are struggling for content.
Here's one: lucky gambler wins an absolute monster, $86,000 at the Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel. Now, I know someone who has won a very large jackpot at a casino, and I just got to ask you, is that person truly lucky? Because the guy I know that won big, that money was all gone in about a year,
Exactly.
and he's still going to that same casino.
Yeah, I don't understand why the News Tribune in particular, I've noticed this, they've been posting these stories. It's like the casinos are sending them press releases and they're just posting them as is. Like, what they're not telling you is that the person was betting $60 a hit and probably put in twice the amount that they got for that massive jackpot. It's like they're being the PR arm for the casinos.
Why did you answer first? I didn't even prompt you.
I know a thing or two about casinos.
Isn't it something when you talk about a topic that you got some, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean?
I'm just saying.
And by the way, I was deferring to you.
Yeah, I keep it real.
Oh, you keep it all the way
real.
Yeah.
If you go to a casino, be prepared to lose what you come in with.
Yeah. Well,
do you guys think that somebody who wins the lottery is more likely to hold on to their cash than someone who wins a big jackpot in a casino? Do you think the gambling behaviors are different? Because I think if you win in the lottery, you're not like a... Casino gambling is different than the lottery to me.
I think it just depends on the individual. I think if you have a tendency to feel like you have to spend whatever it is that you have, you're going to have that problem if you win the lottery or if you win a jackpot. What I always say is that you have to understand that there's something called gambler's math. And they often will tell you how much they've won, but they never tell you how much they've lost.
Isn't that something? All right. Coming up next here on the Gee and Ursula Show, text messages, feedback, and Ursula's words to live by. Gee and Ursula.
Seattle voters wanted change.
I campaigned on affordability, on homelessness, on taxing the rich.
Can Mayor Wilson live up to the promises of Candidate Wilson.
The self-proclaimed progressive socialist
managing high expectations.
Trusted Northwest News voices you depend on.
More government programs, which means more tax dollars.
KIRO News Radio on 97.3 FM. And the KIRO News Radio app.
For seniors, the new year is a good time to reassess finances. If you're struggling with bills, our friend Steve Teitler of Best Mortgage says a reverse mortgage may be a great way to ease your stress.
Seniors tell me all the time, we love our home, we'd love to stay here, but we just can't afford it anymore. A reverse mortgage lets you tap your home equity for tax-free cash to pay off your mortgage, pay off your debts, and maybe put some extra money in the bank. You've worked hard for that home equity. Now let your home work for you. And best of all, you'll have no mortgage payments the rest of your life.
And you always talk to a real person, not an AI robot.
That's right. You'll get a no-pressure consultation directly from me. Never a sales pitch and never an AI bot.
Honest advice you can trust from Best Mortgage, the reverse mortgage experts, the VA loan and debt consolidation experts too. 425-649-6000. Best Mortgage, 425-649-6000.
Now is your time to get into a new D.R. Horton home by taking advantage of its National Red Tag Sales event going on right now through January 25th. Stop by any of its participating communities and find select Red Tag homes at incredible pricing. So whether you're buying your first home or looking for an upgrade, you don't want to miss the Red Tag Sales event going on right now. Discover the D.R. Horton difference. Visit drhorton.com. D.R. Horton, America's builder and equal housing opportunity builder.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You sort through tons of resumes and you get too many so-so applicants. You're just waiting for someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now there's a place where you can meet them fast. ZipRecruiter.
Need to hire right away. Start your search for strong candidates. The right fit awaits. Build your team, build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/radio right now to try it for free. And you're on your way to meeting your match. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So try it now. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
Guys, if your energy is low, your strength isn't what it used to be, or your drive feels off, it's not just getting older. For many men, it's low testosterone. At Revive Men's Health Washington, you can start with a free T-check, exam, and consultation, so you get real answers about your testosterone levels and overall health. And this month only, qualified patients may receive 25% off testosterone replacement therapy. This isn't guesswork or one-size-fits-all treatment. Revive specializes in personalized, closely monitored testosterone care designed to help men feel stronger, sharper, and more like themselves again. With over 120,000 patients treated since 2011, Revive Men's Health is trusted for results, not hype. If you've been putting this off, now is the time to act. Claim your free T-check and consultation and see if you qualify for 25% off TRT. This month only. Call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com. Terms apply, must medically qualify.
Happy New Year, Susan. I really appreciate you picking up the bill for lunch.
I'm happy to. One of my New Year's resolutions is being better with money. So I've started using Upside, the free app that pays you cash back for buying gas.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get paid cash when you buy gas with the Upside app?
Yes, I earn cash back just for buying the gas I was already buying.
Does that actually add up to anything?
I'll make $200 to $300 this year.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app now in the App Store or Google Play and start earning cash back on everyday gas purchases. Use promo code RIDER for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's up to 50 cents per gallon on your next fill up. You can cash out anytime, right to your bank account or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code RIDER for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code RIDER. Code RIDER. Offers vary by user and location. Go to upside.com for terms and conditions.
For 50 years, Bucky's Complete Auto Repair has earned local trust with honest pricing and guaranteed repairs. That's why they're Carfax preferred. No gimmicks, just great service. Bucky's.com.
John Curley here. You know that moment when your house feels colder than it should? You turn up the thermostat and nothing? Ugh. For over a decade, I've trusted the team at Home Comfort Alliance. They show up when they say they will, and they get straight to work, and they do it right. They've been keeping homes comfortable for over 40 winters. Remember, for all your heating, cooling, plumbing, and electrical needs, including standby generators, call the Comfort People, Home Comfort Alliance, or visit homecomfortalliance.com.
It's Friday, y'all. It is the Gee and Ursula Show. Now, wait a minute. If you're listening, now look, I know Ursula does not take me up on any type of recommendations,
This is not
movies,
true.
or anything.
I watched The Landman.
Oh, did you watch Landman?
Yeah. Mark will probably watch more episodes. I got through the first one.
Hey, I'm telling you, I cannot wait for Sunday. It is, Ursula, it's probably my favorite show of all time.
I know. So I need to give it another shot. I need to give it another go.
Like, look at what I'm wearing today.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean?
It's Seahawks gear.
Well, it's Seahawks gear, but I feel like Texas, you know? You know,
okay.
I got that Texas
Kind of
feel
getting that
right now.
Southern feel a little bit. Okay.
So anyways, Landman. All right. News Boss is actually still open.
Okay, so we're going to talk about you turning 50 this year. 360 said G is going to be in his fresh 50s.
Flex Fridays. Deb in the 206 says, I'm turning 70 the end of this month, so this challenge is perfect timing. I don't feel my age, and I want to keep it that way, so adding weights to my walking exercise would be perfect. Thanks so much for creating this challenge. Did my hand weights twice this week.
Awesome.
Love you guys.
Sue in Tacoma says, Ursula, I'm 10 years older than you. I'm definitely not in shape, but I know we need to move our bodies. Yes. I try to do 30 minutes a day with changes to incline and resistance on our elliptical in the garage. There's a TV out there, so it's not too mind-numbing. Be careful, though. I have overworked my parts on occasion and then have to start over with a new regimen. All that to say, move more, consume less. I think that is the key. I wish it were that easy, but yes. Yes, yes, yes.
Your turn.
Our interview with Sheriff Sanders. 253 said, okay, so this sheriff not wrapping his head about legalities on ICE is bothersome. The one thing about Sheriff Sanders is he was very honest. I think that a lot of local authorities are hesitant to talk about federal officers and what because there's such a disconnect. But if you listen to that interview, go back to our interview at 10 o'clock when you can listen to our podcast. You'll hear Sheriff Sanders talk about what he wishes and what would be so much better and safer for all of us is if local and federal authorities could actually work together.
Boom.
Yes.
That's exactly what he did. 425 says, the sheriff says there's no gray. You're either pro-immigration or anti-immigration. That's not true. I'm pro-legal immigration. I am against illegal immigration. Oh, boy. See, be proud of me, Ursula, because I could really comment on that one, but we'll move on. Yeah.
On venting to friends, Sharon, the Scrabble savant, says, I feel like an unpaid therapist. I'm okay with it, and I actually appreciate people feeling like I'm a trusted person to confide in.
206 says, when my spouse died, it was a real eye-opener for me. The most needy friends were often the least empathetic and usually turned the conversation to themselves.
Ryan says, I think I'm with Chef. As a guy, it's tough to open up about what's going on because I know my guy friends are dealing with their own stuff. I send and receive memes, sometimes just as a way to say, hey, I was thinking about you without just saying that and asking, how are you? See, and that's what I was trying to get at. Your one friend who only sends memes, I think he's just trying to stay connected. Okay, I'll keep going. Aaron in Auburn. See, that made you feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Aaron in Auburn says, I'm 43 years old, and most of my friends come from elementary through high school, and I can count on one hand how many times I've actually had a truly deep conversation with any of my guy friends. It's almost always just surface level stuff.
That
hurts.
Hey, Aaron. No. That's a real one. That's a real comment right there. Thanks, Aaron. The friends who only send us memes. Brian in the 425 says, ha ha ha, oddly enough, it's my uncle in his 70s.
But then there's Echo in the 425 who says, I got plenty of friends who text me a bunch of memes, especially on Instagram. I'm 25, so it's pretty normal for people my age. However, no, I'm not going to dedicate 3 hours of my day just watching your memes. LOL. We were just impressed that Echo at 25 is listening to our show.
Yeah, shout out to Echo. Kathy in the 206 says, I have a friend that sends these junior high videos to me all the time. She's 57.
And then Cliff in Woodinville says, OMG, I have a friend like that. I just thought it was a him thing. Didn't think it was more widespread. He only texts sporadically, no more than once a week, but he always leads with a meme and just ha ha or some other emoji on it. He's getting a divorce and doesn't have a ton of friends. So like Ursula said, it's like reaching out for a connection. I think that's what it is. He's trying to squeeze blood from a turnip. And yes, I know I'm the turnip in this metaphor.
Our good friend Dawn from Queen Anne says, Landman keeps getting better. Give it another try.
Go. Okay,
I'm so into that show. Gee, I agree. It's one of the better shows I've seen. Great casting, writing, acting. I think the first show starts out tough, which it does.
Yes, it was. And I was just like, are you kidding me?
And even I would even argue that the first season is
okay.
So
I got to
get into season
time.
2 and Sam Elliott shows up. Oh my goodness!
I got to go through a season worth of homework.
I know.
It's so
broccoli.
Good. Hey, here we go, Ursula. It's time. It's like going through the first season of the Gee Ursula Show. What we got? and what did we go through?
Facts.
What did we go
This
through?
is true. Oh my word.
What you got? Where's the live by? What
This
you got, Ursula?
unknown author who says the world is full of kind people. If you can't find one, be one.
Wow, that's good stuff.
Short and simple.
All right.
We need more of it.
Yes, we do. What do you got there, brother Nick?
Well, there's always some friends we know who might make us annoyed when they're sending us those countless memes we're trying to avoid. So instead of sending laughs and love while truly feeling moody, let them know that they can ease off sending pics of Big Booty Judy.
I like big butts and I cannot lie.
But you don't have to necessarily drop it as a whole. Just don't beat it to the ground. That gets the humor feeling dull. Maybe just stop sometimes and check the long history of memes sent in the thread, all right?
Yes. All right. Ursula, what you got going on this weekend?
Well, I'm going to hang out with my husband, who is kind of stuck at home.
How's he doing?
A little bit. He's doing great.
Right.
Okay. For anyone who has to have one of these, I'm just shocked that they can do a hip replacement surgery in 90 minutes.
Was it 90 minutes?
Yes.
And then you guys were home fast.
Yeah, I told you. Yeah. And by middle of the day, just a couple hours later, Mark was like, I told him, you're supposed to use the walker for balance.
Yeah.
He was using it like a grocery basket.
Wow.
Lifting it, walking around like, what are you doing?
And he just had it on Wednesday.
Yes.
Good for him. All right. Have a good one. We're going to do this again
thank
next
you.
week. Let's do it. Thanks, Ursula. Thank you, Chef. Thank you, Nick.
You too, man.
The Jake and Spike Show. They're coming in next. Stick around. Appreciate you for listening. Love you for that. And as always, be kind.
Hope you have as much fun as we have. So long, everybody.
And when I'm throwing a gig, I just can't help myself. I'm acting like an animal. Now here's my scandal. I want to get you home.
This is your city.
Seattle voters have spoken, and they wanted change.
Wilson really resonated, especially with some younger voters.
On the terms of working people, make it work for them.
Katie Wilson is just actually not afraid to say she's a socialist.
What challenges does the political newcomer face once taking office?
Never having any managerial experience.
Stay with KIRO Newsradio and MyNorthwest.com for the latest.
Change takes time, and we don't give it time.
And the KIRO Newsradio app.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it to Cars for Kids. Call 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS to reach a friendly live agent. Donation's super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now, 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS. That's Cars with a K to donate your car today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your
know you can donate real estate too? Go to carsforkids.org. That's carsforkids.org.
The 37th annual Holiday Magic was another one for the record books. Thanks to everyone who donated.
You always come through.
It's not too late to donate. Just go to mynorthwest.com/holidaymagic.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-292-4541 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-292-4541. That's 800-292-4541. What do you have to lose? Call 800-292-4541. Again, 800-292-4541.
Join in on the conversation by sending a text to 888-973-5476. That's 888-973-KIRO.
Start the new year taking active liver supplements from New Nordic. Online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com or at CVS, ShopRite, Meijer Grocery, or Wegmans.
Do you owe back taxes to the IRS? Whether it's due to job loss, a divorce, a new business venture, or you just didn't file your taxes, don't lose hope. Powerful relief programs are now available that can help you and may reduce or even eliminate what you owe the IRS. With the cost of living affecting millions across the country, Tax Relief Advocates is urgently notifying anyone with $5, $50, or even $500,000 in back taxes to the IRS to call to get relief options. With over 1,000 5-star Google reviews and an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau, TRA is America's trusted choice for real tax relief. Relief options are now available that can give you a fresh start and peace of mind. End your tax nightmare today by calling our tax relief hotline. Dial 800-390-8432. 800-390-8432. That's 800-390-8432. Or visit TRA.com. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Your best source for local news. KIRO News Radio. KIRO FM and HD1. Tacoma